Los Angeles said it was like leaving the basement for the penthouse. Jones, a classic passer, throws here to the newly acquired tight end, Mike Barber, acquired from the Houston Oilers. In 1981, the Rams missed the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. Bart Starr's in his 8th year as head coach at Green Bay, still having trouble with the offensive line. Often injured Lynn Dickey will again quarterback the Pack. Last year, the quarterback sacked 52 times. Dickey's favorite receiver was All-Pro James Lofton. Today, it's the Rams and the Packers from Milwaukee.
CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the Los Angeles Rams against the Green Bay Packers.
The temperature is going to be in the mid-80s this afternoon in Milwaukee. A sellout crowd of 56,000 when all the fans settle in, and the Rams and the Packers will play on a grass field. I'm Jack Buck, and this is Hank Stram. Hank, this is always an exciting day, opening day of the pro football season.
Never changes. I've been in the business for 35 years, and I wind up with sweaty hands and clammy palms every time there's an opening game.
The offensive lines of these two teams were quite suspect a year ago.
Green Bay Packers were sacked 52 times in 1981. They have exactly the same line with the exception of their left tackle. The Los Angeles Rams, Jack, were sacked 50 times, but I think they have a good offensive line, and I think they'll demonstrate that skill and ability in 1982.
But Hank thinks the most important thing in the game today is the Rams kicking game.
Yes, I'd be shaking in my boots a little bit if I were Ray Malavasi going into the opening game of the season with two rookie kickers, Mike Lansford and also John Misko. Both have great promise, but it's going to be very exciting on the sideline this afternoon watching these two young people kick in the opening day game of the National Football League schedule of 82.
Well, as you would surmise, as you watch Mike Lansford tee up the ball, the Green Bay Packers have won the toss and they want the ball, and Lansford will be kicking with the wind. And deepest for the Green Bay Packers is Del Rogers, the rookie out of Utah. He is flanked by Harlan Huckleby and by Mike Meade. These two teams saw the players, all the players, come out and shake hands before the game. Hank, that doesn't bother me a bit. Does it bother you?
No, I don't think so. The owners do it. The coaching staffs do it. So what's the difference? But I think one thing, I think the players ought to start shaking hands with the owners so they can get something done.
Well, here comes the kick by the second-year man, Michael Lansford, who has never kicked in the NFL before. And the deepest man, as we told you, is Del Rogers. And this ball, as you would suspect, with the wind, goes deep in, and there will be no heavy hitting here on the very first play of the game. I saw only one man on the ground, Hank.
Yeah, they were all standing up, and of course, when a kick goes into the end zone like that, Jack, that usually what happens. You know, an interesting thing about Lansford is the fact that, you know, he kicks barefooted when he kicks field goals, but he puts a shoe on when he kicks off.
The offense for Green Bay, Dickey, Ivory, and Ellis in the backfield. Lofton and Jefferson are the wide receivers. The tight end is Paul Kaufman. Swanky, Goforth, McCarron, Harris, and Cook are on the offensive line. It's going to be Del Rogers starting in the backfield, along with Jerry Ellis. And under the ball, Lynn Dickey. This is his 13th year in the NFL. They're in a wing eye and motion now by the wide receiver Jefferson, and it looked like the tight end Paul Kaufman beat the snap count. The screen pass is caught by Jerry Ellis. Only gets to the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Pat Thomas, but it looked like Mr. Kaufman has to have his hearing tested here.
No question about it. He jumped in his anxiety to get out on the pattern. He was dragging the pattern out to the outside to do a good selling job on the defensive back to make it look like they were going to throw the ball to him, but instead they threw a screen pass to the left side.
So that'll make it 1st and 15. Excuse me, first.
Number 82 of the offense. Penalty is declined. It's still second down.
Second down and 10.
You know, if I were the home team, I would much rather play on defense the opening series than I would on offense.
Why did they turn that penalty down, Hank?
Very obviously, I think they feel they can do a good job of holding them, and they'd rather lose a down than have another down and try to get the first down in 3 occasions.
It is second down and 10, and here comes the tailback. And nothing doing. This Ram club is very, very big. That was Eddie Lee Ivory on his first carry. He was hurt in the first game a year ago. It's going to be 3rd down. 9 as a result. The Rams are much bigger than the Packers.
They're big and they're strong, and and we see Jim Youngblood as a defensive end, along with Mike Fanning and Cody Jones.
And the backs are Thomas, Perry, Johnson, and Cromwell, and they're terrific. Del Rogers is back in there for Green Bay. Dickey is faced with 3rd and 9. He has Lofton to the right. The tight end is split left. Dickey needs 9 yards. Plenty of protection, and it's a first down. It's caught by Jefferson. John Jefferson caught it, covered by Nolan Cromwell, and a first down for Green Bay.
Jefferson, at that time, was in a slot formation. They have a 4-man rush with 5 defensive backs. He has plenty of time to throw the ball. They have to feel good about that. And he delivers it right on the money to Jefferson, coming across the middle. Rod Perry, number 49, is in hot pursuit, but they pick up the necessary yardage for the first down.
An 18-yard gain out to the Green Bay 39, a first down. Split backs with Ivory and Ellis, and the first down pass. Outside and incomplete. Pretty good coverage by the Rams, particularly on the corner by Pat Thomas, as they try to get it out to the fullback, Jerry Ellis. It's going to be second down and 10.
You know, as we go along and the Green Bay Packers throw the football, I think they'll be trying to attack Pat Thomas, number 27, only because he does not, here we see Ray Malavesa. He's lost some weight. Looks good, doesn't he?
He does to me.
But Pat Thomas does not use the bump and run nearly as much as Rod Perry, and I think for that reason they might be trying to give him a little bit more business than they would Rod Perry on the other side.
It is second down and 10 from the 39. Lofton is to the left, Jefferson to the right. Lofton, the tight end on the right side. And the ball bobbles up into the air, and a scramble for it. A fumble, and the Rams do have it. The fumble on the snap from center. The ball went straight up in the air, and Los Angeles comes away with it. Reggie Doss covered it on the Green Bay 40-yard line.
Boy, that's really tough. That's a tough way to start a sequence, and they fumble the ball between a quarter, which is very obvious. And there it is, and it's recovered there by Reggie Doss, the right defensive end.
Bert Jones is the quarterback. Wendell Tyler and Mike Gilman are in the backfield with him. Motion is shown by the tight end Mike Barber. A toss to Gilman, the big fullback, cuts it back up the middle, and he got 4, almost 5 yards. First one he ran into was Terry Jones, the nose guard, and then George Cumby, the linebacker, gave him the help that he needed. So the first turnover will prove to be a big item. We have 12:54 left in the first quarter. Jones has Wendell Tyler and Gilman in the backfield. Miller and Denard are the wide receivers. And the offensive line, Pankey, Hill, Smith, Harris, Slater, and the tight end, Mike Barber. Second down and 6. Out of the eye, motion by Barber again. The tailback, Wendell Tyler, had a dive to get a couple of yards. It'll be third down and rather long yardage. And Rich Wingo was there that time. Terry Jones helped out. Up front, the 3-man front for Green Bay, Mike Butler, Terry Jones, and Ezra Johnson. Their linebackers are terrific. Anderson, Wingo, Cumby, and Douglas. And Douglas is very, very active. Hood is starting on the left corner. McCoy, Gray, and Harvey in the backfield. Billy Waddy checks in. There's Bart Starr. It is third down and 4 from the 34 of Green Bay. Rams in possession after recovering the fumble. Jones gives the ball to Tyler, and he gets a first down inside the 30-yard line. Then the ball came loose. Did Green Bay get it back? They really scramble for that ball, and the officials have to sort them out. That's mayhem down there as they try to determine who has the ball after a fumble.
You invariably look for the big guy, and the big guy usually winds up with the ball.
The players tell me, Hank, that is murder in those piles.
Oh,
let's watch Wendell Tyler.
It really is. Now, here we see Wendell Tyler, and he sees the opening in good shape, running with his head up. The ball is knocked loose,
by Johnny Gray.
By Johnny Gray. And there we see the scramble for the ball. It's hard to tell what really happens, but the Rams have possession, and it's a first and 10 for them.
At the Green Bay 27-yard line. Jones hasn't thrown the ball yet for his new team. Now we're going to see it. He swings it out, and the receiver falls down, and Wendell Tyler is taken down for a loss on the play. Wendell Tyler had his foot go out from under him. He's a lot like Lonnie Smith in baseball. They call him skates. He can do a lot of things, but once in a while, frequently, in fact, his feet go out from under him. A loss on the play of 5 yards, 2nd and 15.
It's normal that you try to plant the outside foot when you try to cut up field. He did that time, and evidently the turf is soft, and he slipped trying to get it done.
A four-man front now with Casey Merrill playing up front. Rich Wingo out as a linebacker for Green Bay. 2nd down and 15 from the 32. Here's a delay to Tyler. And a very good tackle by George Cumby, the linebacker. If he'd have missed him, there'd have been a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he's still been running, but Cumby really did an outstanding job of reading the play, getting good depth, taking a good angle, and then making the tackle. Number 52, George Cumby.
It's going to be 3rd down and 12 as a result. Mark Lee comes in as the extra back, and George Cumby leaves. Estes Hood, Mark Lee, Johnny Gray, Maurice Harvey, and Mike McCoy in the backfield for Green Bay. No score. We played almost 5 minutes. 3rd and 12 for Jones and company. Strange to see him wearing that Ram uniform.
They got a double zone covering the outside receivers. They're going to have to try to hit the tight end or one of the backs.
Jones rolls away from trouble, slips and falls, and is touchdown. And they may be able to try a field goal with the help of the wind. Casey Merrill was in there to cover him. There's not much grass down there to dig in on the baseball infield portion of the field.
Especially when big linemen are chasing you like they were on that occasion. It looked like Burt Jones was confused a little bit. I mentioned before the ball was snapped that they double cover the outside receivers. And as a result, you have to go inside to the back of the tight end. He didn't have an opportunity to do that.
Well, here's John Misko. He's out of Oregon State. It's his 2nd year, but he hasn't played in the NFL. Twin safeties are back, but they likely will not touch the ball. Johnny Gray and Estes Hood are back waiting for the kick. Low snap. A flag goes down, trying for the out of bounds. Misko kicks it. Let me see where they're going to mark it. Inside the 15-yard line in all probability. They mark it at the 16-yard line, but now let's check the flag.
I think Sully, number 37, the outside man, was offside. He left a little bit prematurely, and I think that's why they're going to call the penalty.
Well, that won't hurt the kicker very much because he has the wind. It was only a 26-yard kick as he tried to kick it out of bounds. Do the Packers want the ball at the 16, or do they want him to kick it over again? Kick it over again, they say. .9:21 left in the first quarter, and it's scoreless. Red Cashin will mark off 5 yards. Cashin's the referee. Hendy Ansich, the umpire. LaDory Haggerty, the head linesman. Ray Dotis, the line judge. Ben Tompkins, the back judge. Nate Jones, the side judge. The field judge, and Bob Workman.
Offsides, number 37 of the offense. It's still 4th down.
They call it an Ivory Sully, as Hank Stram mentioned, and it's 4th down now. And 24. And again, it is John Misko to do the kicking. The Gray and Hood. A low snap again, but handled well, and Misko drives it for the sideline, and he got it out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. They got it down on the 11-yard line. And that was a heck of a kick by the rookie. He did exactly what he was trying to do.
Yes, and he kicked it like a frozen rope and went right out of bounds.
Green Bay fumbled a snap from center at their own 40. They survived that, but now they're back at their 11-yard line. And Lynn Dickey brings them out. Jerry Ellis is in the backfield along with Eddie Lee Ivory. And Ivory is a package. If he ever gets rolling, he's a 6-footer, 210. A very tight formation. Jefferson in motion now. And here comes the big tailback. I tell you, he can do some things. He's to the 35, 40-yard line. And out of bounds at the 43-yard line of Green Bay. Bumped out by Johnny Johnson.
The Rams that time were in an overshifted defense. We call it the triple stack. And they looked like they automatically ran away from the overshifted defense. Watch Ivory cut back. Beautiful blocking by McCarron, the center. Eddie Lee Ivory does a good job of running and juking in the open field, carrying the ball properly in the left hand away from pressure. scampers down the sideline. Andrews is in hot pursuit and is finally tackled out by Johnny Johnson, number 20. A beautiful run. Great execution by the Packers.
32 yards by Eddie Lee Ivory, who's replaced by Del Rogers now at the Green Bay 43. The fake draw, the pass by Dickey to the sideline, and it is caught by Jefferson at the 37-yard line of the Rams, despite the very good hit by Pat Thomas. You said they were going to pick on Thomas.
Well, that time, Pat Thomas went back, and Pat Thomas watched Jefferson turn him. He's got his back to the sideline. You don't see it yet, but he had his back to the sideline. Now he has to turn to the outside. The ball is a little bit late coming to Jefferson, but in spite of that, they make the catch for the first down.
And that was good for 21 yards. For the first penetration into the other team's territory, Eddie Lee Ivory checks back in. Here is Ellis, the fullback. He found another hole. He's inside the 30. The Rams recover the fumble. Back the other way with the ball is Rod Perry down the sideline to midfield. He's down to the Green Bay 43, 42-yard line, and there are no flags. The play will stand. The tackle by Goforth.
That's the first thing I look for is a flag. There were no flags. Rod Perry brings it back. Now this is another counterplay against the overshifted defense, Jack. Ellis goes back to the right side. A nice hole, a beautiful cavity there. Carl Swanke, the left tackle, did a good job of pulling, but the ball is knocked loose. Rod Perry sucks it up. Got the ball in a wrong arm, running away from pressure. Should have it on the left side, but doesn't. But in spite of that, it was very good for distance, and the Rams have a 1st and 10 situation.
And Jerry Ellis has been injured and being tended to. I would guess that Jerry Ellis will be back into the game. He walked to the bench under his own power. Here comes Bart Starr after saying something to him. 2 Packer fumbles have them in trouble at their own 42.
And we just saw Bart Starr. We had a great visit with Bart on a couple of occasions over the weekend, and he felt good about the fact that they could run against different alignments.
Willie Miller is the wide receiver along with Preston Denard.
Look at all the room on the right side.
Jones tosses to Tyler. Tyler makes his cut. He is down for big yards to about the 31, and that'll be a first down. Maurice Harvey came up and hit him.
It's very soft on the right side, as we mentioned before the play was snapped, Jack, but there's a lot of room to run. They pull in good shape. And Tyler does a good job of taking advantage of the inside area, cuts up inside of the linebacker and makes a fine run on the play.
A first down to the Green Bay 31-yard line.
Estes Hood is playing very soft on that side, and they got to throw the ball in that area sometime pretty soon.
Gilman plunges for about 4 over the right side. Wendell Tyler tried to block for him, but didn't do a very good job.
Usually that is the case when you have a halfback blocking for a fullback, but in this particular case, I think Wendell Tyler is really overall has done a good job of blocking on most occasions.
Right after this football game, they'll go for the title in the U.S. Open. Jimmy Connors against Ivan Lendl. Lendl has never won the big one on the tour, on the Grand Tour, that is. And he'll have to fight the left-hander today. You'll see it on CBS television. It is 2nd down and 5 as Newman got 5.
Look at that right side, all the room in front of Hood over in...
Jones down the middle, and it is caught by Wendell Tyler, and he fumbles inside the 5. But the Rams get it back, and it'll be 1st and goal. What a crazy game this is. Tyler caught it, ran to about the 2, and then Doug Smith recovered his teammate's fumble.
Here we see Jones. I think this is kind of an option whether you throw it to the back or the receiver. In this case, Tyler makes the catch. He's hit hard, and the ball is recovered by Doug Smith, the offensive center. Great job of hustling by the offensive center, Doug Smith.
There aren't many centers who would even have been down there, Hank.
You're right.
It's a 1st and goal at the 4. A 22-yard pickup.
And Bert Jones really rifled that ball there in a full house backfield with 3 backs.
Here, keeping the ball, and almost, he's touchdown. Touchdown is what it is with Wendell Tyler. Tyler got there. They tried to drive him back, but one official saw him get over the goal line despite the efforts of Mike Douglas. It's a touchdown, and the Rams score their first points of 1982.
It looked like he broke the plane, and that's all he has to do. Break the plane, and it's 6 points. Wendell Tyler coming off the left side. Good blocking at that point. Let's see what happens here now. There you see him. He's driving, fighting hard.
Johnny Gray has him. Up
Johnny
comes
Gray
Douglas.
have him. There you see, he does break the plane. The ball breaks the plane and it's in for a touchdown.
Foul is made by Lagori Haggerty, the head linesman. And now with Cromwell holding, here's Mike Lansford trying his first extra point. Barefooted kicker. Bad snap, but Cromwell did a good job, and it's 7-0. Cromwell did a very good job. Drives him deep into the end zone, and he won't try it. It will come out to the 20-yard line again. After recovering the fumble, 4 plays, 42 yards, 2 minutes and 17 seconds, and Tyler a 4-yard run.
I talked to Mike Lansford yesterday about the fact that he takes the shoe off to kick extra points and field goals and puts it back on to kick off. He does that, he says, because he feels he can get the ball up a little quicker when he kicks barefooted. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we go along.
Well, Gary Ellis didn't answer the bell. He was taken out injured earlier, and Mike Meade, the rookie out of Penn State, number 39, is in the backfield with Eddie Ivory. Tight end Kaufman on the right side. And the power play up the middle moves the ball only to the 21-yard line with Jim Fanning making the tackle on Ivory. Here's some other scores. Kansas City jumps ahead as Mick Lowry kicks a 39-yard field goal, 3-0 over Buffalo. And Tampa Bay leads Minnesota in the first quarter by the score of 3-0. Del Rogers and Mike Meade, 2 rookies in the backfield now for Green Bay.
Mike Fanning really did a good job, number 79, on the last play.
Dickey gives the ball to Rogers, and he is wrestled down, and no gain on that play. Back to the line of scrimmage, that's all, and Jack Youngblood was there.
You know,
this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Green Bay Packers and the National Football League is prohibited.
You know, I think it's a lot easier to run inside of Jack Youngblood when he's on the split inside. Here we see another picture of Bart Starr. He's very excited about this team, Jack, talking to him, and he thinks they're going to have a good year.
3rd and 9 for Lynn Dickey. Lofton to the right, along with Jefferson to the right. And Dickey fumbles the ball. It's up for grabs. And it looked like Green Bay got it back. That's their 3rd fumble. And now they say the Rams have the ball. Red Casson says the Rams have the ball. Coming away with it was the defensive back, Johnny Johnson. He took it away from the Packer player.
It looked like, yeah, it looked like he did. Dickey was trying to escape the pressure. Watch him. He goes back into the pocket. And there's a leak now inside. There you see Reggie Doss coming from the outside. The ball is knocked loose. It bounces up into the air. And Johnny Johnson catches the bouncing ball. And they have possession on the 21.
With 4:16 remaining in the first quarter. The fans don't like it as the Packers have fumbled the ball 3 times.
Look at that right side.
But they stay on the ground with Gooman, and he drives inside the 20-yard line for a couple. What's 4:09 left in the first quarter. Clock running. Close-up look at Burt Jones. What about that left side, Hank?
Well, Estes Hood is playing that left side, number 38, and he's very, very concerned about not getting beat deep. As a result, he's back there about 10, 12 yards, and so you should be able to throw the ball in front of, outside, and inside of him whenever you want to if you get him on single coverage.
Drew Hill comes in as a wide receiver and goes left along with Willie Miller. Tight end Mike Barber's on the right side for the Rams. 2nd and 7. Jones whips it into the corner and overthrew his tight end Mike Barber. Well, there was plenty of attention given to him. Ezra Johnson was putting on the rush, and he took Jones down, and Jones was slow getting up.
You know, one thing this year, the Rams have to get the ball to their tight ends more than they have in the past. Last year, I think they got the ball to their tight ends only on 32 occasions, and that's not enough.
So now they have Mike Barber, and after Dave Casper was acquired by Houston, Barber said, "Trade me away." He was very quiet about it, but he got his wish. Let's watch Jones get hit by Johnson and get sandwiched.
And it's always tough for a quarterback to get hit from the blind side. He had no idea whatsoever that he was going to get that shot, and that's when you get hurt, usually from the blind side.
Well, Jones goes to the sideline with 3:35 remaining in the first quarter. The Rams are on the move again, but they have a 3rd and 7 coming up. They lead 7-0. Burt Jones went to the sideline. He's okay now. It'll be 3rd and 7. The ball at the 18 of Green Bay for the Rams, who lead 7-0. They scored on a touchdown run by Wendell Tyler. Who's calling the plays for the Rams?
John Hadel has that responsibility. And as we watch the left side now, they made a change. Mark Lee is in the game, who normally occupies that. He's got a bad ankle. Look at all the room again on the right side.
On 3rd down. Jones with a rather deep drop pops it inside the 15, and it is caught, and it's 1st and goal. Wendell Tyler again. Johnny Gray trying to keep up with him, but couldn't do it.
And Tyler does a good job of running the pattern out of the backfield. Johnny Gray is covering on the play. Johnson is rushing inside. They pick it up in good shape. Jones throws the ball right on target. Wendell Tyler goes down the sideline. A beautiful play. And he picks out the right receiver. 15-yard gain. They're down on about the 3-yard line.
That was a 3rd and 7. Boy, it's tough to keep up with Tyler, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
1st and goal from the 3-yard line. They put in Tyler, Cullen Bryant, and Mike Gooman in the backfield. Here's Gooman running left, dipping outside, and he lost 2 yards on the play. Randy Scott put the finishing touch on him, but good pursuit by Green Bay up front.
Yes, and it looked like the play was designed actually to go inside, but instead Gooman tried to make it outside and had no place to run and loses 2 yards on the play.
He shouldn't do that.
He shouldn't, but he did.
We have 2:25, clock running. We're in the first quarter, 7-0 Rams.
And it's a lot easier for us to see that than it is for him to see it when he's running the football.
And, of course, if he'd scooted in, we'd have said, brother, he has good eyes and good speed.
That's right, and good moves.
2nd and goal from the 5. Now they put in the second tight end, Ron Battle. And they put Tyler on a wing and in motion, and he's going to throw for it to Tyler, and he threw it on his right shoulder, incomplete. He didn't put the ball out in front like he should. It's 3rd and goal. Mike McCoy was covering.
You know what he did? He hurried himself just a little bit too much, Jack, that time, and that's why he threw an errant pass. Had he waited, he had plenty of time. It was a play-action pass with the express purpose of throwing the ball outside to Wendell Tyler, but he threw it behind him, hits the shoulder pad, and falls incomplete.
It was a well-called play. It was there, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, and it was a good call by John Hadel.
1:57 left in the first quarter. Cullen Bryant is back in. Gooman goes out for the Rams, who lead 7-0. And they're on the move now after recovering a fumble again by the quarterback, Lynn Dickey. And it's a touchdown to Mike Barber. What a sure-handed receiver he is. A flag is down. A flag is down in the end zone. And it's going to be offensive interference. What do you think of that? Somebody pushed somebody in the end zone, Hank.
Well, usually on that kind of a play, when you see a tight end break open that much, he's doing a good job of acting, and sometimes they do a good job of holding and pushing and shoving to get open like he did. Let's see what they call.
I think it was away from the ball, Hank.
Well, it could have been.
Pass interference. Number 81 of the offense blocking downfield. It's still 3rd down.
It was the second tight end, Ron Battle, who was in there. He was blocking downfield. Let's watch him. Number 81. Watch him, Hank.
See what happens on the play. Barber pulls around from his right end position to the left side, trying to create a coverage problem. And evidently, Battle, number 81, going through, was holding on the play.
Now the ball's at the 15, and it's 3rd and goal.
They got a blitz.
Over the middle, and it's incomplete. Almost picked off inside the 5-yard line, but it is broken up nonetheless by Estes Hood, the fellow they're picking on, and so the Rams will have to settle for a field goal try, and Green Bay feels good about that.
Yes, they sure ought to feel good about that, and there was a blitz that time, and really the ball was thrown into traffic and was almost intercepted.
Mike Lansford will try his first field goal for the Rams with 1:47 remaining in the first quarter. Nolan Cromwell will hold. Cromwell, a former quarterback, by the way, capable of throwing the ball. Bud Smith will snap the ball. High Cromwell gets it down. The kick is good, and it's 10-0 in favor of. Here is Lansford kicking off for the third time. And there is Del Rogers, the rookie, on the goal line. He won't get a chance to run this one back either. That must get a little boring.
Well, that's exactly what you want, though. On 3 occasions, he kicked the ball out of the end of the end zone. It comes out to the 20.
I know we're just underway in the 1982 campaign, but look what's going to happen next week on CBS TV. Dallas plays at St. Louis. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, to emphasize that point, the last 8 times they played in St. Louis, they split 4-4. That's hard to believe.
New Orleans has a program that's on the rise and a brand new program at Chicago with Mike Ditka.
Yeah, they're very excited about their team. I'm talking about New Orleans. They've done a good job of running, and they expect to do a good job. And
we'll be in Los Angeles for the Detroit game. Detroit beat them out there last year, and the defending 49ers will have their hands full at Denver. You can bet on that. It's at the 20-yard line, and it is a first down for Lynn Dickey. He has Meade, and he gives it to Ivory. Only 1 yard. I know it's early, Hank, but so far, Green Bay's line hasn't shown any ability of kicking them out.
Well, they did really, Jack, when they licked the defenses on alignments on a couple of big runs. But just to power right at that defense of the Los Angeles Rams is going to be very difficult.
Only 1 yard for Ivory. Detroit, the opponent for the Rams next week, ahead of the Bears, 7-0 in the first quarter. We have 1:05 left in the first quarter here. Pass play by Dickey. And what a good catch beyond the 30-yard line for a first down. John Jefferson, he is murdered.
Yes, he is murdered. And that time he was in a slot formation. He went in motion, ran inside. Pat Thomas was covering 27. Watch him. He comes in motion to the inside of Lofton. Breaks up the field. Pat Thomas is covering number 27. Watch him. And he looks into the inside. Cromwell comes in and makes the tackle, but Jefferson makes the play.
He doesn't mind getting hit, does he?
No, he's a great receiver. Terrific concentration.
12 yards and a first down at the Green Bay 33. Dickey with a first down pass. Throws outside. Lofton is not there. The timing wasn't there. 14 seconds left in the first quarter.
And again, they try to do a little business on Pat Thomas, number 27.
Well, those two have been working together long enough so that the timing should have been better than that.
You would think so, but it was very bad execution as far as the delivery is concerned. When you talk about the Rams, Pat Thomas last year intercepted 4 passes. Rod Perry intercepted 3, which is very good for corner people.
Are the Rams double teaming both outside receivers?
Not very much. They use a lot of man-for-man coverage, not as much as they did last year, but they're using a lot of man-for-man coverage right now, and they disguise their coverage very well.
Second down and 10 from the 33, and here's the delay to Mike Meade, the rookie. He doesn't get very much. And the clock's going to run down. That'll be the final play of the first quarter. When we resume, it is going to be a third down and 12 play for Green Bay from their own 31-yard line.
Mike Fanning so far has been very outstanding and did a great job on the last play.
Sponsored by Chevrolet and your local Chevy dealers from coast to coast. And by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less.
44 to 21, they get 10 points.
Hank Stram, can you win a football game if you've had 3 turnovers in the first quarter?
Yes, you can. You can, but the big difference in the game so far is really the Rams are playing on a much shorter field than the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers have had to go 80 on most occasions, and the Rams have gone about 40 or 50 yards.
This is a third down and 12, and Dickey runs, and he is sacked inside the 25, and it's time to kick. The Rams got to him, led by Jack Youngblood. I've talked to some of the best offensive linemen in pro football, and when they talk about this fellow, they don't put anybody ahead of him.
He's playing. The Rams have talked about him during the course of the week, and they say he's playing just like a rookie with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, and there's a great illustration how well he can rush the passer.
Ray Stakowitz does the punting for Green Bay. He averaged almost 44 yards a kick, and watch this with Leroy Irvin back waiting inside his 40. And That's a line drive, and he'll return this one. Watch it. We'll see some action from the 37 to the 40 to the 45 and out to about the 49-yard line. Downfield for Green Bay, Larry Rubens, the center, to make the tackle. There's that short field for the Rams you're talking about.
Yeah, there we go again. And now they got 49 yards or 51 yards, whatever it is. And the Packers got the ball the first time on their 20, then the 11, then the 20, then the 20. And there's no way in the world you're going to win a football game with that kind of field position. Look at that, Tampa Bay winning 3-0 over Minnesota.
And Cincinnati, Ken Anderson with a touchdown pass there in the second quarter with the Bengals leading Houston 7-0. Buffalo ahead of Kansas City after Kansas City scored first there in the second quarter. And it is 7-3. Nothing yet on that one. Those are two good football teams, the Giants and Atlanta. And the Giants involved in a very important game next week. Bill Capice, by the way, kicked that field goal for Tampa Bay. So the Rams from their own 49 with a first down. First down pass by Jones. Good pass blocking. Pass is overthrown and incomplete. And there was one of the Los Angeles fans' favorite, Preston Denard.
He threw the ball into coverage that time, Jack. It was a play-action fake to the right. They double-covered Denard that time on the right side, but in spite of that, he tried to get the ball between the two defenders and threw it over the top very wisely, and it falls incomplete. But that's what happened on the play.
And right after Denard takes you running downfield, Drew Hill could do the same thing. He comes to the right along with Willie Miller. Right end Barber on the left side, and Jones long down the right sideline, and it is caught. There was Willie Miller, and it is first down and goal to go from the 8-yard line. Estes Hood is the one they picked on.
Yes, I wondered how long it would be before they did some work on him. But I was surprised. There you see him. You see Miller going straight down the sideline, and watch Estes Hood turning to the inside. The ball is thrown perfectly right to the outside, and that kind of a ball you want to throw to the outside shoulder. It was thrown precisely right by Burt Jones. Beautiful throw.
43 yards and first and goal from the 8-yard line for the Rams, who already lead 10-0. Newman and Tyler in the backfield. Here comes Tyler, slanting right. He loves that goal line. He's to the 5. Second and goal from there. Rich Wingo, the tackler.
That offensive line to the Rams that time got off the ball in good shape. Doug Smith, Hara, and Slater on the right side really did a good job of getting some movement. You know, the one thing about the Green Bay Packers, you know, they're a defensive team that are really not large, and so they do a lot of stunning. And any time that you stunt, you're going sideways, and with a big offensive line, you can blow them out of there in good shape, and that's what's happening so far.
Wendell Tyler has some bruised ribs, but don't appear to be bothering him. Kent Hill should not have done that. You were visiting with him on the practice field yesterday. Is he bigger than you are?
You know what I thought? He looks like Ken Norton. Boy, he's a terrific-looking specimen. Big and strong and well-developed. Good definition.
Number 72 on the offense.
And he can run.
It'll be second and goal from the 10.
There you see him, number 72, Kent Hill. A very fine offensive guard of the Rams.
He can run, but can he count?
A little doubt about that after what happened on the last play.
13:32 left in the half. We get word out of Chicago. Cincinnati opens it up against Houston by the score of 10-0. We get word that the Bears quarterback, Bob Avellini, had to walk off the field with a shoulder injury. Second and goal from the 10. Jones looking for 6. Runs. He's in trouble. He's knocked down at about the 8-yard line, third and goal from there. He's smart enough not to throw it.
Well, you know what happened on the play? Tyler was trying to work on Gray again, and in the process of trying to make an outside move, he slipped and fell right about the time Jones was trying to deliver the ball to him. As a result, Jones very wisely twinkle-toed up the middle and fell down and didn't cough up the football.
He was tackled by Ezra Johnson. You have a lot of admiration for him, number 90.
Yeah, he's a good rusher. He really is. They like him very much, and he puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He's very capable, and Mike Butler, number 77, is also a very outstanding defensive end.
Well, the last time the Rams had to settle for 3, and Green Bay would like to have that happen again. Jones looking into the end zone, and it's a touchdown to Barber again. They called one back earlier, but this one isn't coming back, and that makes it 16-0. Boo, say the fans here in Green Bay. 12:43 left in the half. And John Anderson was trying to cover the tight end.
Yes, and Barber that time comes off the ball in good shape, makes it not really. He spins off the linebacker, breaks to the outside. He's a very determined receiver, doesn't have great speed, but he's a great possession, kind of a pass receiver, the tight end. He makes the catch. The ball is right on the money. Touchdown, Los Angeles Rams.
Well, he's a horse, Barber is. He is 6'3", 237, out of Louisiana Tech in his 8th year. He knows how to play the game, and he plays it every inch.
And that's right. He dances every dance, and he's a terrific blocker.
Here's Mike Lansford trying to get his second extra point through, and he does, but a flag goes down. Let's check the flag. Let's check the flag.
Encroachment, number 59 on the offense.
So they'll have to kick it again.
You know, we talked about the kickers in the opening part of the game.
That was George Leah who caused the infraction.
But both kickers have done a terrific job so far, and you have to mention it.
We get word now that Vince Evans is quarterbacking for the Bears now that Avellini has left. And Lansford will touch it off from the 19-yard line, trying to make it 17-0. A quiet opening day so far for the Packers with 3 fumbles, low snap, and Cromwell handled that. And that's good. So it is 17-0. And the Packers had better get going or they're going to get blown out today. There's Bart Starr. He's trailing by the score of 17-0.
Yeah, he's got to be very concerned because the one thing he didn't want to do going into this game is try to play catch-up football against this very talented, big, strong defensive team of the Los Angeles Rams, and that's what he's going to wind up doing.
Kicking into the wind this time. Rodgers is going to be able to return it. Instead, Meade takes it. He's to the 10-15. He did not get to the 20-yard line. So the Packers are inside their 20. With 12:34 remaining in the half, and Ivory Sully was downfield to make the tackle. That last scoring drive after the punt. Receiver Irvin was tackled at the 49-yard line. 5 plays, 51 yards, a minute and 41 seconds. And an 8-yard touchdown pass to Mike Barber. Next week, we're going to find the Dallas Cowboys playing at St. Louis. New Orleans at Chicago. Chicago has lost Avellini today. Here's the first down play from the 19 and a toss to Ivory. Running right, turns it back. He's forced back inside. Made some good moves, but got only a couple of yards on the play. Nolan Cromwell came up.
Yep.
The second half of next week's schedule on CBS television. A very important game. You were talking about it last night at dinner time, Hank, about the 49ers playing at Denver. It's tough to defend that crown, isn't it?
Yes, at Denver, of course, is an excellent team, especially defensively. They've helped themselves tremendously offensively.
And the Rams will be at home against the Lions. Second down and 8. Dickey trying to get his club moving. And Rodgers and Meade, 2 rookies. He fakes to Rodgers, and he screens it out to the right. And it moves across the 25-yard line for a few yards with James Lofton being tackled by Jim Youngblood.
Jim Youngblood really did a good job of escaping a block and getting out to make the tackle. I must add another thing, Jack. So far, the Rams have done a good job of adjusting. Early in the game on 1st and 10, they were using a triple stack, which is an overshifted defense. They got hurt with it a couple of times, and so they've changed, and now they're using a 4-3 basically on the 1st and 10, and they're doing a much better job.
11:49 remaining in the half. John Jefferson to the left, James Lofton to the right on 3rd and 2. Green Bay try to move him out and run with the ball. Here's Meade, and he plunges for a first down. He got it. He followed a good block by Ivory. There wasn't much there, but before Carl Eckern made the tackle with some help, it was a first down pickup by the rookie Mike Meade.
Yeah, Mike Meade really slammed in there well that time. Got off the ball in good shape and made something happen and got the necessary yardage for the first down.
Ricky Young with a touchdown run for Minnesota. And in the second quarter, the Vikings lead Tampa Bay 7-3. They had quite a drive of 77 yards. Now breach a field goal after an Anderson pass, 10-0 Cincinnati over Houston in the second quarter. from their 30. Dickey hit the ball very well. Throws, and it is caught beyond the 45-yard line. The tackle by Johnny Johnson. And a great catch by James Lofton. They have two wide receivers who don't mind being hit.
Cody Jones that time, number 70. So here's Lofton coming down and just stopping in front of the defensive back. The ball is thrown right at the numbers where it had to be. And again, they gave a little business to Pat Thomas and threw the ball in front of him. Cody Jones really gave the quarterback a good lick that time. Got good penetration.
19 yards on the pickup to Lofton out to the 48-yard line. Jefferson left, Lofton right. And the tight end, Paul Kaufman, is on the left side.
Might run the ball left here. They're in that overshifted defense again.
Another pass play on first down, and it's caught inside the 45 of the Rams by Jefferson. Boy, does he go up and tuck it away. He looks like a textbook whenever you watch him.
Watch Jefferson now. They're throwing into the away from the overshifted side of the field. That's the place to do their work. Cuts inside between Andrews and Perry. The ball is delivered perfectly, and another first down for the Green Bay Packers.
Well, they're going to measure for that. George Andrews made the tackle. We have exactly 10 minutes left in the half as they measure. And it's a little bit short. That was a first down pass. Frequently, the defense would just as soon, rather than you get 9.5 yards, they just as soon you get the first down on that play. Because it really gives you an extra play.
Yeah, you got a waist down.
Ball's in Los Angeles territory at the 42. And it's second and inches. Exactly 10 minutes left in the half. The Rams are leading here 17-0.
It's a good time to throw a play-action pass and try to get the ball upfield. Jack, it's a waist down, and you're only in this situation about 2 times in a game. You ought to take advantage of it.
Jefferson left, Lofton right. The running play and very little yardage, but it is a first down for Eddie Lee Ivory. He's out of Georgia Tech in his 4th year and played only part of one game last year. Cody Jones and Jim Fanning stopped him. There's Bart Starr feeling a little better about things, but no points yet. What do you think about that front four of the Rams? Good enough?
I think it is. It's a big, strong defensive front four. They feel good about the way they can play, and the only thing really about the Rams, they have to express that skill and ability. If they play like they're capable of playing, they're as good as anybody in football.
Ray Malavasi. His defense is being tested. And now Buffalo jumps ahead of Kansas City after the Chiefs had gotten out in front. There's a toss and a reverse to Lofton. Look out, James. You better go back the other way. He needs a couple of blocks. He is brought down for a loss of 4. Rod Perry came up, read it, and knocked him cuckoo over there.
Boy, the Rams really stayed at home in good shape that time on the reverse. Watch it now. Here comes Lofton coming around the outside. He's given the ball. The exchange is good. But Reggie Doss, number 71, is there in great shape, has the containment responsibility, and follows that responsibility very, very well. No gain on the play. Terrific play by the Los Angeles Rams, and specifically Reggie Doss, number 71.
A big hit by Rod Perry. It's second down and 14 back at the Rams 45. Now both Jefferson and Lofton come to the left. Kaufman, the tight end, at the right side. Dickey has time, steps up and throws. It's intercepted. Coming with it is Rod Perry, who just made that previous tackle. He's out of bounds at the 47 of Green Bay, and that's their 4th turnover.
And that time Jefferson slipped on the infield part of the field, and he threw the ball with
Flag is down.
Threw the ball with the idea of hitting Jefferson, but he slipped, and Rod Perry, number 49, sucked it right up and came back with the interception.
2 men in motion by the offense. Penalty is declined. First down.
So the interception by Perry stands, and the ball is at the 47-yard line of Green Bay. Let's watch it again from the end zone, Hank.
See if we can see Jefferson slip and fall on the skinned infield part of the field. There you see him on the ground. And Rod Perry does a good job of anticipating the route. Makes the interception. 1st and 10, Rams.
8:01 left in the half.
Here we see Jefferson going in motion on the inside of Lofton. Breaks up the field. and he's going to go right down with the idea of trying to make the play between Thomas and Perry, but in the process slips and falls. The ball is sucked right out of the air by Rod Perry and first and 10 Rams.
He may have been in a pretty good pass receiving position.
Well, it was similar to the pass he caught a little while ago, right between Andrews and Perry.
Well, the Packers have turned it over 4 times, and the Rams are at the 47 of Green Bay. And a first down pass, he threw it away. It'll be second down and 10. They had 6 turnovers, by the way, talking about Green Bay as they lost last week to New England 41-27 in their final preseason game.
You know, here's we see a picture of Ray Malavasi. He has to feel good about the way his team is playing so far. Talking to him yesterday, he was very confident that his team had the ability to win this game as long as they didn't make a lot of mistakes.
Irv Cross will join Brent Musburger at halftime and bring you up to date on all of the other action in the NFL on opening day. It's second down and 10. Here is a delay to Wendell Tyler. He moves for 5 down to the 42-yard line. With 7:50 left in the half.
You know, Jack, from a statistical standpoint, a pass interception basically is worth about 5.5 points. Really, when you analyze it after everything's all said and done, an interception's worth 5.5 points. A fumble is approximately 2 points, and if you get 1 sack more, then the opposition is close to a 3-point advantage.
Now we're down to 7:20 left in the half. The Rams leading 17-0. Have a 3rd and 5. No flag was thrown, and the pass is incomplete. It bounced off the right shoulder of Mike Barber, covered by John Anderson, the linebacker. Good coverage by the linebacker.
And it was a good throw by the part of Burt Jones. That time they double covered the outside receiver. The only place you could really do any business is with the tight end or the back. He chose to hit the tight end. He was covered well, but he threw the ball to the right person.
Well, here's the other first-time kicker for the Rams, John Misko, M-I-S-K-O, out of Oregon State, 2nd year, but he's never kicked in the NFL. He's kicking into the wind. And back to get it, Johnny Gray and Estes Hood. Snap by Barnett. And the kick hangs high into the wind. It should be well covered, and they keep it from bouncing into the end zone. And the Rams are backed up inside their 5-yard line. They're down to their 3, so not much is going right for Green Bay. And is Misko happy about his first effort? I'll say 7:02 left in the half.
Nothing like the enthusiasm and the emotion of a young player. John Misko, watch this reaction after the kick. Full of happiness. There he goes. Excitement.
All right, he says, at the 3-yard line. Mark it right there. Thank you. He's a Vietnam veteran, by the way. We haven't talked about Frank Corral, who has now left the Rams organization. He used to do both jobs.
They just felt that these 2 young kickers were better from a potential standpoint. They just had to make a decision. It was a tough decision, but they had to make it.
Now they're tied 7-7 in the second quarter with Detroit. Atlanta ahead of the Giants 7-0. And it was William Andrews with a 13-yard touchdown run. Philadelphia Theismann gets back into the game with a touchdown pass to Art Monk, makes that score 10-7 as Mike Meade carries from the 3 out just to the 6-yard line. They need a little operating room. The tackle made by George Andrews, number 52.
The Packers' field position so far, I mentioned it earlier, but it's really been atrocious. -20, -11, -20, -20, -18, -3. Boy, they've been in a soup all afternoon. It's tough to negotiate anything, any kind of an offense, when you don't have good field position.
I want to point out the new left guard for Green Bay is Tim Huffman. You see, the defense last year for Green Bay was pretty good. Here's a toss to the tailback, Ivory, and he's tackled at the original line of scrimmage. I wanted to mention their new left guard, Tim Huffman, number 74 for Green Bay. That tackle by Johnny Johnson, who was sticking his nose up there.
Hoffman they like him very much, too. He's a 2-year guy from Notre Dame. Drafted 9th in 1981. He's 6'5", 277. He's surely big enough, but they like him very much.
And he is playing at the left guard position right now. Huffman, number 74. Charles Swanky is the left tackle. Larry McCarron, the center. Leotis Harris, the right guard, and Greg Cook is the right tackle. It's 3rd and 10 back at the 3-yard line. Rodgers is back in there, and a mix-up. That's one thing the fans in any stadium will not tolerate, Hank.
They don't understand really what happens. We'll go into this in just a minute.
Lynn Dickey went to the bench to talk to Bart Starr. When he came back on the field, the fans started to boo him, but fortunately, the band started to play.
That was good timing. He might have had that arranged.
3rd down and 10 from the 3-yard line. 5:41 left in the half. 17-0 Los Angeles. They stay on the ground, and Ivory breaks out, and he is taken down very close to a first down. Let's see what kind of forward progress he got. He's short as we view it from here.
Bob Snelker is calling plays for the Green Bay Packers.
Leroy Irvin finished off the play after Cromwell turned it back inside. Irvin, the extra back, made the tackle.
And that was an excellent call, really was, because they expected a pass. They were going to be rushing tough. They ran a trap play inside, and Ivory made the necessary yardage for the first down. A good call by Bob Snelker.
Out to the Green Bay 14-yard line. First down. Close-up look at Lynn Dickey out of Kansas State. Here comes his tailback Rogers. Boy, can he move. Came across the 20-yard line and was put down at the 23.
You know, every time they get out of that 4-3 and go into the triple stack or the overshifted defense, they pick it well. That time they hit the soft spot on the defense and really made a nice hole. Watch the left side. Good blocking at the point of attack by the left guard, Hoffman, who comes off the ball in good shape. The offensive guard, Goforth, also does a good job. But it doesn't happen by accident. You got to blow them off the line of scrimmage, and they did that time.
You saw a good hit by Johnny Johnson. 2nd down and 1. And the screen. Loses yardage. Got it out to Mike Meade, the rookie. I think that play has to be a little quicker, doesn't it, Hank? Jim Youngblood made the tackle.
Well, you have to tell Jim Youngblood not to play it so well, and it'll work a lot better. That time he responded. You know, it's tough to run that kind of a play against a veteran linebacker like Youngblood. He reads and responds and reacts so well.
2nd quarter, the Falcons and the Giants are tied 7-7. 3rd down and 4. 3:40 left in the half. Rams leading 17-0. Motion by Jefferson. Dickey looking and incomplete. Lofton had continued over the middle, and Dickey threw the ball well behind him, and the fans don't appreciate it at all. It's time for the Packers to punt.
You know, anytime they bring both receivers, Jefferson and Lofton, on the same side, Pat Thomas has to come all the way over from the other side. He's very slow getting there. I can't understand why the Packers just don't go in a quick count and take advantage of it. He wouldn't have a chance in the world to make the play if they snap it on a quick count.
Ray Stackowitz will kick for the 2nd time. And Leroy Irvin is back inside his 40. Kicking with the wind. It's a dandy kick, but Irvin will get some yards from the 30-yard line. He's to the 35-40. Broke a couple of tackles to midfield. Only one man is there. Stackowitz. Down goes Irvin as he makes his cut inside the 20-yard line. Guy Prather caught up to him, and as Irvin stumbled trying to make a cut away from the punter, Prather brought him down. It was a pretty good punt, but the punt coverage wasn't very good as he kicked with the wind.
Well, you know what happened? They had it faded very well on the outside, but Irvin saw the seam inside, took advantage of it, and that's why he's such a great punt returner. He took advantage of it. He popped. There it is. He cuts inside, goes through it, some traffic, and makes a beautiful run.
And now a toss to the big running back of the Rams, Gerald Thomas, number 33, who's into the game for the first time. He moves inside the 15, and he picked up 3. And you know that traffic you were talking about, Hank? Each Green Bay player thought the other guy was going to make the tackle.
That's what happens so much of the time, and that's what creates a problem. You have to say, I'm going to make the play, and you can't say somebody else is going to make it. I'm going to make the play.
Green Bay was last in punt coverage last year in the NFL, and it hurt him again today. Jones gives the ball to the running back, Barry Redden. They like him, the rookie out of Richmond. But he didn't get very much. It'll be 3rd and rather long yardage. 2:25 left in the half.
Barry Redden has excellent speed, and I think what they'd like to do as they go along eventually, as the season progresses, they would like to have Redden in the backfield with Tyler, which would give him a good inside-outside dimension that they haven't had in the past.
How many times have they had people trying to take Cullen Bryant's job?
Long time. And, you know, Cullen Bryant now is also going to play tight end on occasions. He'll play tight end and also fullback.
Now we have the 2-minute warning. 17-0, the Rams lead. It'll be 3rd down and 6 when they come back, and the ball is resting at the Green Bay 14-yard line. They'll get some more points before it's over. That was a 51-yard punt a while ago by Stakowicz, but a 54-yard return. There you see the story, 17-0, 2 minutes left in the quarter in the half. Hank, the score really is 4-0. 4 turnovers to none.
You're right, three fumbles by the Green Bay Packers and 1 interception. The Rams have fumbled on only 1 occasion, but they recover their own fumble. So, as you say, it's 4-0.
In your picture, number 30, first-round draft choice of the Los Angeles Rams, Barry Redden, 5'2", 205, out of Richmond. He carried the ball the last time. Sun beating down on this grass field. Temperature in the low 80s right now. A 4-man front for Green Bay, including Casey Merrill, along with Ezra Johnson, Terry Jones, and Mike Butler. Wingo, the linebacker, is out. Cumby is still in there.
I think you were thinking about Bill Barty when you mentioned that Redden was 5'2".
3rd down and 6. Jones gives it to the fellow we're just talking about, and nothing doing for the rookie. And it's field goal time for the Rams. Here's what happened when the Packers turned it over 4 times. After a fumble, a touchdown, a fumble, a field goal, and after a fumble and an interception, the Rams had to punt the ball. But they got 10 points out of it, and it's 17-0. We have a timeout called by Green Bay. We have 1:41 remaining in the half. It's 4th and 5 for the Rams. They'll try a field goal when we come back. They try to add their 17-0 lead. The preceding message was brought to you by the National Football League. Earlier we had a 32-yard field goal by Mike Lansford. This one will be 29 yards. It'll be held by Cromwell.
And you always have to be aware of Cromwell because he was a quarterback in college and has the ability and skill to roll out and throw the ball well.
Doug Smith with a good snap. 3 more points for the Rams. With 1:38 remaining in the half, the score amounts to 20-0. And the 2 rookie kickers you talked about at the top of the program, Hank, have responded very well.
Yes, I'm very happy for both of them because I had occasion to talk to both of them yesterday. It's very obvious they were very concerned and very nervous and with great anticipation. It's terrific to see 2 young people play as well as they're playing here this afternoon. A great compliment to the people who decided to make that decision, and a great compliment to the young kickers.
Now he'll put the shoe on for the kickoff, and as Hank Stram explained earlier, without the shoe, he gets the ball up more quickly. The Rams got 10 points in the first quarter, and they have 10 in the second quarter. The Dallas Cowboys, after debuting at home against the Steelers tomorrow night, will travel to St. Louis 1 week from today, and some of you folks will see that here on CBS television. And there will be other big games, including the 49ers at Denver and Atlanta. Hooking up with the Giants today. How are they going to make out? What will they do next week? Here's the return by Rodgers. And taken down from behind after crossing the 30-yard line. He did not get to the 35. Mel Owens was the tackler for the Rams. Well, they still don't have good field position.
It's the best field position they've had so far in the game on the 33.
New Orleans against Chicago. They'll probably be against Vince Evans. Avellini was injured today. And that Cowboy game at St. Louis. Other games to be seen on CBS next Sunday. The Lions will be at Los Angeles and Anaheim. And the 49ers will be tested at Denver. And Bart Starr, he and his club behind 20-0. He's had 2 years added to his contract.
And I was glad to see that. I think he deserves it.
First down and 10 from the 34. Lynn Dickey back to throw. He screens it, and right there in the middle of the screen. They faked the blitz. Straight rush, pass, picked off, another turnover. With the ball is Carl Ecker in the middle linebacker, and it's at the 37-yard line, and the fans are really letting him have it now. That's the 5th turnover for Green Bay in the first half. It was intended either for Jefferson or Meade, and those two came back and made the tackle.
Watch Ecker in 55 come back and take a good drop. He's watching the quarterback. He's watching his eyes. He follows the ball perfectly, gets it right in front of the receiver. It looked like Kaufman that time.
He tried to get it to Kaufman.
But
So Jones gets another chance to operate, and that may cost the Rams 5 as Dennis Hara moved after being in a three-point snap.
False start, number 60 on the offense.
I can't understand why the Rams have been so kind and generous in the distribution of passes toward Estes Hood. They've only thrown one over there, really, and got a big play, but he's playing very soft, and he ought to be able to do a lot of work on him.
Dennis Hara moved, by the way. He hasn't practiced very much this week, number 60. He has a bad back.
The Rams have beaten the Green Bay Packers the last 5 times they played.
They're ahead 20-0 here with 1:18 left in the half. First and 15. Preston Denard in motion. Jones looking for Denard and into heavy traffic and incomplete. 6'3", 211. He fakes the draw and he passes out here. It's caught by the fullback Redden. Well, he showed good hands for him.
And I talked to Veracamo yesterday, and he's got a great attitude about his role, and he feels good about his ability. He feels his time will come.
3rd down and 5 for the Rams with Denard in motion. Trying to run the same pattern. He was knocked off the pattern. Goes the other way. The pass is caught by Willie Miller, and that's a first down. With less than a minute remaining.
He threw the ball, and
Miller almost carried a lot of the defenders with him. But it's a first down to the 16. 30 seconds left and a sack. The linebacker, Mike Douglas, the most active of their linebackers, came roaring in there, and now a little scuffle breaks out.
Mike Douglas, in normal situations, will blitz about 60% of the time from his linebacker position in the 3-4. That's what he was doing there. He was blitzing. They didn't pick him up, and he got a shot on the quarterback, Burt Jones. Quickness and good speed. Burt Jones never sees him.
In the back, Gerald Thomas ran right by him.
Yes, he did. He evidently, if he was a hot receiver, which means they call a receiver hot, that means he doesn't have to pick up anybody, but he's got to be ready to catch the ball. Evidently, they didn't tell him that because he should have blocked the linebacker. He was a little confused on the play.
It'll be 2nd down and long. 27 seconds remaining in the half. 2nd down and 19 coming up.
When the quarterback tells the receiver he's hot, he's not talking about the temperature. He's talking about he doesn't have to worry about blocking anybody. Just get out there and catch the pass, and that's really been the difference.
2nd down and 19. Willie Miller is to the right side. Drew Hill to the left. Better protection. Jones steps up and he runs with the ball. He runs inside the 15, and well, a field goal makes it 23-0. The Packers are out there arguing about the very fact that Hank Stram just mentioned about the additional man on the field, but that's after the fact, and the points have been posted, and it is 23-0 here at intermission, and not looking very good at all for the home forces in County Stadium. Well, there you see the score here at halftime, 23-0 in favor of the Rams as the Green Bay Packers come back onto the field. The Plymouth High School band is entertaining out there on the field from Plymouth, Wisconsin. Well, there you see the Rams back onto the field, and they're in good shape, 23-0, as Hank Stram and I took a little break here at halftime. Well, let's take a look at the statistics. First downs are even. Rushing is even. Everything's about even. Turnovers are not even. 5-0. All 5 Green Bay turnovers.
You know, this is like watching 2 guys run a 100-yard dash. If one has to run 100 yards and the other one has to run 50, you know who's going to win. That's what happened in the first half so far.
Hank, as we took a little break at halftime, one of the fans said to you, well, it looks like Green Bay doesn't want to play very hard. And you really got burned up about it, didn't you?
Yeah, it's really upsetting because it's typical of what, you know, maybe an average fan would think when he sees this kind of a game. But I guarantee you that Burt Jones didn't think that way when he got hit a couple of times. They're trying desperately. They've coughed up the ball 5 times, and that's really been the difference in the game. But they're trying very, very hard, and they're doing the very best they can. They just made mistakes, and that's been the difference. But there's never been a lack of effort.
Those mistakes are just so difficult to overcome. You have great wide receivers like Lofton and Jefferson. You'd hardly know they're in the game.
But the thing that's so tough right now, Jack, is the fact that they have to play catch-up football against a big, strong team. They can't try to get it all back at one time. Here's Ray Malavasi. He's full of happiness, a little smile there. and he got to feel good about the way his team has played in the first half.
Let's watch the touchdown, the first points of the game, as Wendell Tyler went in. He has a nose for that goal line out of UCLA. This is his 6th year. He struggled for it and got it.
Yeah, the Green Bay Packers were squeaking a little bit about that play, but the ball did break the plane, and that's why they gave him the touchdown.
Now kicking with the wind, trailing by the score of 23-0. By the way, Hank, after the pass was caught by Willie Miller, I looked at the clock and there were about 19 seconds left when the field goal unit started to run from the Rams bench, and they got the kickoff just as the gun sounded. Usually
it takes 17 seconds at least, but again, as I mentioned earlier, one player was not off the field, and they had 12 men, and it should have been counted. Robert Alexander will await the kick, which is forthcoming from your old friend Jan Stenerud. Yeah, Jan has really earned the right. Here we see Robert Alexander back there, 22.1 average. But Jan is one of the great kickers, I think, will go down in history as one of the great kickers in the history of the National Football League. With the wind, the ball drives Alexander deep into the end zone, and he says no thanks. Next week, here on CBS television, the Dallas Cowboys will be playing at St. Louis. They have frequently run into a buzzsaw there. New Orleans will travel to Chicago to take on Mike Ditka's troops. We'll see a scintillating offense of the 49ers against one of the best defenses at Denver. And these Rams who we are watching today will be at home against Detroit in Anaheim. All of that action next Sunday. Let's see if the Rams are able to move the ball. They have Gilman, the fullback, and Wendell Tyler. The give is to Tyler. And he gets about 2.5 yards. Wingo and Mike Butler, the defensive end, brought him down. We've seen again today that Wendell Tyler has the propensity to cough up that football, but he has some bad ribs, and that may have something to do with it. Well, that could have had something to do with it, but he runs a lot with his arms, like a lot of good runners do, but he has to keep the ball close to his side with his hand over the point of the ball and away from pressure, and sometimes in his haste to get 8 yardage, he fails to do that, and that's why he creates a problem for himself. Miller, the wide receiver, to the right side, and Jones looks and almost picked off. There's all sorts of defense there. He tried to get it to Tyler, and Tyler is slow in getting up. Anderson was there along with Johnny Gray. Downfield was Barber. It'll be a 3rd down play coming up. You know, really, with the score the way it is, you have the mistaken impression that really that the Green Bay Packers have not done anything at all. And they've moved the ball pretty well early in the football game. But as I mentioned, I hate to belabor the point, but they haven't had good field position. They can come out of here with a pretty good shot. So 4-man front, and Bill Whitaker checks in as the extra back for Green Bay. 3rd and 7 from the 23. They got to go to a back or a tight end here. And Jones is sacked. That's the 3rd time that Jones has been taken down. Now, there's a pretty good example of where people are wrong who say, looks like Green Bay doesn't want to play. Yeah, Butler put good pressure, number 77, the defensive left end. Got good penetration. They have a stunt coming inside. Watching the outside here. And Johnson comes from the outside. In there. Yeah, Johnson came in from the outside and made the play. And here is the punt from John Misko. Johnny Gray is back at his 40-yard line. The 3rd punt of the day for Misko. Well, that's not too hot, is it? Kicking into the wind, he got a good bounce, and Gray picks it up on the 35, gets back to the 40. He's to the 45. A 10-yard return and pretty good field position for the Pack. That was not a good drop. The kicker, John Misko, that time did not drop the ball well, and that's why he kicked it like he did. Didn't get any kind of a spiral. A 50-yard kick nonetheless. 10-yard return. Doug Barnett made the tackle, and the Packers go from their 45. Well, if they could shock the Rams quickly. There's the story on the turnovers. There have been 3 fumbles and 2 pass interceptions. One by Eckert, one by Perry. First down pass by Lynn Dickey. Long over the middle and caught inside the 40 by Lofton. And a first down. Nolan Cromwell covered. Lofton got into the hole, and he got into the hole in good shape that time. There was a seam there, a soft spot, zone defense. There you see the linebackers dropping back. Lofton gets into the open area. The ball is thrown a little bit behind, but he stops and makes the catch. And a big first down for the Green Bay Packers. Tackled there by Cromwell, number 21.
19-yard pickup, and here comes the tailback. And that's Rogers, and nothing doing as Cody Jones stacked him up after a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, this is the nice thing about coaches calling plays. If you're not careful, the quarterback usually is such a great competitor that he tries to get it all back and very quickly. The coaching staff knows they're patient enough, and they'll run the ball and play action some and keep the team off balance, even though they're behind, but they can't try to get it all back too soon. They have to be patient.
Score is 23-0 in favor of the Rams. We played 2.5 minutes in the third quarter. Kaufman, the tight end on the left side. Here's a pass long for Kaufman, and interference. And Johnny Johnson ran right over his feet.
Yes, he did. It was tripping, no question about that. It was very obvious. Johnny Johnson was called on the play. They're trying to hit their tight end. Paul Kaufman, number 82.
Pass interference. Number 20 on the defense. First down.
It may have been inadvertent, but it was pass interference.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about the fact that it was inadvertent, but it still was made, and the official had to call it. Here we see it right there. He gets tangled up, knocks him off course, pass interference on the play.
And the reason he got so close to him was that Kaufman had whipped Johnny Johnson. First and goal from the 8. How can they get some points? Rogers, the rookie, bores his way inside the 5. Talking about Del Rogers, the rookie out of Utah. Reggie Doss first to get him. Carl Eckern also there. And they mark the ball down at the, well, inside the 5. We'll call it the 4, and he got 4. Malavese doesn't want any points scored against his team. Mike Meade is in now. And the 2 tight ends, Gary Lewis and John Thompson. The wide receivers are out.
You might see something right here in the I formation.
The old Green Bay Packers sweep. He cuts it up, Ivory does, and only got to the 4-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal. Carl Eckern, the linebacker, stayed with the play.
Barstar looking on very intently, and of course Bob Snelker is calling the plays from the sideline, and he's done a good job of representing offensive teams at Kansas City, last year with the Detroit Lions, and he'll do a good job here. He's a very creative guy, good imagination, and does a good job on the sidelines.
3rd and goal. Harlan Huckleby, in his 4th year out of Michigan, checks in, number 25. 10:50 left in the 3rd quarter. Packers trying to get their first points. Dickey with a fake and a pass and a touchdown. But now he may have pushed off. The tight end may have pushed off, or he may have been held. But in any event, a flag was thrown. Let's see who gets caught for doing something here. It's going to be a Green Bay touchdown.
Holding. Number 71 on the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
There's a little tangle there with Reggie Doss and the receiver Kaufman. One was holding and the other was trying to get away. Now watch it. First Green Bay points of the day. Pretty good fake.
Play action fake. Does a good job of selling. Watch the middle linebacker blitzing on the play. He dumps the ball over the top. He makes the catch, talking about Kaufman. But in the process, they call holding on the play.
Penalty decline, and now it's 23-6. Jan Stenerud out of the hold of Stakowicz to try the extra point. Harry Rubens with a snap, and the kick is good. It's 23-7. We have 10:39 remaining in the half. Stenerud will kick it off, and the Rams have to be wary about falling asleep with that lead that they have.
Yeah, that's always a problem. You know, you really have to sell your team on the idea they got to keep playing hard, and they got to go out the second half like it's nothing.
With the wind, the kick is deep, and Alexander wants to try it. From 2 yards deep, he is hit inside the 10, gets to the 10, and he's down to about the 12-yard line. Who said the Packers don't want to play today? First man downfield was Bill Whitaker, a great special teams man, number 30, and then he got the help that he needed at the 12-yard line.
I'm surprised that he brought that ball out. Really, it was deep into the end zone. A normal rule of thumb is if it's beyond 3 yards, down it, come back and take it on the 20. He didn't do that.
And the ball is down at the 12-yard line of the Rams on that last scoring drive after taking the punt. 55 yards, 6 plays. Now the fans here want the Packer defense to do the job. It looked like Gooman was in motion. Flags come down as the running play is stopped after a gain of about 5. Mike Gooman missed the snap count. Estes Hood came up and made the tackle. Motion against number 44. Well, the Rams have lost the momentum. They still have the big lead, 23-7, but they have lost momentum, no doubt.
Yeah, but really the thing that's happening, really they have bad field position for the very first time in this game. They've had it. It's a big advantage all the time so far in the first half, but now they finally come back with the ball on the 12-yard line, and it makes a big difference.
They're going to mark off the yardage.
Illegal motion, number 44 on the offense, still first down.
Ellis for Green Bay, and Lee, the quarterback, will not play anymore this afternoon as far as the information we get from the Green Bay bench.
Lee is the cornerback. Ellis is the fullback. They're out. Ball's back at the Rams' 6-yard line. And a delay to Gooman. He didn't get back the 5 yards that he lost. In fact, he hardly got back to the line of scrimmage. John Anderson, the outside linebacker, and Rich Wingo, who plays inside, were there to hit him. And it'll be second down, long yardage. Well, I bet the nerves are twittering as they get ready for the finals of the U.S. Open Tennis Championship. Pat Summerall and his friends will tell you about the action. The left-hander Jimmy Connors against Ivan Lendl. Lendl can really dominate you if he gets off to a good start. You'll see that action on CBS TV right on the heels of this Ram-Packer game. Second down and 10.
It's interesting to watch this game and watch how John Hadel calls the game, because he was a very unpredictable quarterback when he played for the San Diego Chargers and Green Bay and the Rams. And he loved to throw deep in this kind of a situation as a player.
Second down and 10. Jones has the arm to get it downfield. Motion by Willie Miller. And a toss to the tailback, Wendell Tyler. He bursts across the 15-yard line. It'll be third down and about 3 or 4 yards. Ezra Johnson with another tackle, number 90. Washington and the Eagles, how are they doing? Montgomery has another touchdown. And the Philadelphia Eagles lead in the third quarter, 20-14. Minnesota ahead of Tampa Bay, 14-3, and Tampa Bay is a good football team this year.
I did all their preseason games, and they were very impressive. They were 3-1, but they look very, very good all spring.
And Cincinnati leads 17-0. They're in the third quarter. On 3rd and 4, Tyler's taken down, and the Rams will have to punt. And things aren't going so well for L.A. right now with Rich Wingo, number 50, the tackler. Look at these fans. Go get them packed. There really wasn't much noise or crowd support from these fans at the start of the game, but there is now.
Yeah, they're getting all excited, and that usually happens when they start to do something good. They're back in this game, very obviously, and they're playing with a lot of animation, a lot of emotion. And, of course, the big difference is the fact that they've had much better field position. We'll find out more about this kicker right now, John Misko, as he kicks from close to the end zone.
This is his 4th kick of the day. He's kicking into the wind, which is quite formidable, by the way. And a single safety Gray is waiting for. This is a pretty good kick. Not too well covered. Gray takes it on the 43. He's to midfield. He's down to the Rams' 47-yard line. So the Packers go from the Rams' 47, and again, Doug Barnett made the downfield tackle.
Misko did a good job that time. It was a good kick. It really was into the wind.
7:47 left in the third quarter. The Rams on top, 23-7. Green Bay has the ball at the Los Angeles 47-yard line. Next Sunday, Hank Stram and I will be in Anaheim when the Rams host the Detroit Lions, and the players are asking their fans to wear blue and gold that day. And the new slogan is "Get Rambunctious." Well, they're a little rambunctious in the first half, but they haven't done anything here.
Well, they have to do a good job here to say with their defense.
Ken Anderson strikes again, this time to Charlie Alexander. In the third quarter, 24-0 over Houston. And the Giants lead Atlanta in the third quarter, 14-7. First down for Lynn Dickey. Inside handoff to the big guy, Mike Mead, the rookie out of Penn State. And his forward progress is good for 2 yards, and Carl Eckern stopped him. Eckern gets a full-time chance now with Jack Reynolds gone.
There we see Bart Starr again looking at the short list, meaning that he's looking at the plays that they anticipate using in certain situations on the field for this game.
Second down and 8. Lofton and Jefferson both go to the right side. Paul Kaufman, the tight end, is on the left side. Over the ball, Larry McCarron. Split backs with Rogers and Meade. And a pass play by Dickey. Pretty good protection. He throws it long. Kaufman has it. First and goal. First and goal with a fingertip catch at the 3-yard line over Johnny Johnson.
Yes, and they had a blitz on that time. Both linebackers were coming. Youngblood was coming on the inside, and Dickey really stood in there tall, stood in there tough, and got the ball right downfield to Kaufman. Boy, what a beautiful play. Watch the linebackers come. Watch 55. He's blitzing. 53 is blitzing. He steps up into the pocket right before he gets going to get hit by Eckern. He delivers the ball on top. And a beautiful catch by Kaufman, and he was covered there by Johnny Johnson.
42 yards. And first and goal. Gary Lewis and John Thompson, the 2 tight ends, are in. The wide receivers, Lofton and Jefferson, are out. First and goal from the 3. The score 23-7.
It's a good time for a play-action pass this close to the goal line.
It'll be Eddie Lee Ivory, and to the goal line and over. A touchdown by Ivory. Is this game changing?
Well, he stuck it in there good. They had a wingback on the right side, and they crushed the left defensive side of the Los Angeles Rams, and he blew it right in there for a touchdown. Watch the line take off. Good takeoff. The right guard, number 69, pulling on the play, Harris, and they blow it in there for the touchdown with Eddie Lee Ivory, number 40.
Now the extra point try to get within 9 points by Jan Stenerud. Stakowitz will hold the ball. Karen snaps it. Good snap, good set, kick good. The Rams had better be careful. Things are slipping away from them. We have 6:03 left in the half. The Rams led once, 23-0. It's 23, taking the punt. 3 plays, 47 yards. And a touchdown run by Eddie Lee Ivory. Stenerud will kick it off.
Now Stenerud came up with a new invention as far as a kicking tee is concerned. 16 teams in the National Football League are using it, and it's quite an innovation.
Robert Alexander, the second-year man out of West Virginia, caught the ball and decided not to go. On CBS television next week, we shall have a doubleheader, and the second games will be either Detroit at the Rams or the 49ers at Denver. Whichever one you happen to see in your territory, check your local listings. You're going to see a heck of a football game on CBS next Sunday.
And everybody kind of thinks really that Denver's going to could be one of the sleeping teams, best teams in the league this year.
Bert Jones has to get his team rolling again. First down pass outside, and it is caught by Denard, and he almost shook loose. And he got pretty good yards, 7 or 8, covered and tackled by Mike McCoy. St. Louis will take on Dallas a week from today in St. Louis, and they're ahead at New Orleans 14-0 third quarter.
Gosh, that's a surprise.
Is it to you?
It really is. I thought New Orleans would do a better job, really. They felt good about their squad. They've got a lot of new changes, and I'm surprised that they're losing 14-0 at this stage of the game.
Second down and 2 for the Rams. Across to Gooman, turns upfield. He is hit. A flag goes down as Gooman got to the 30, very close to a first down, holding against the Rams. Things like that really conspire to slow you down. And If we look at the Green Bay crowd, we get an update on the Green Bay running back, Jerry Ellis. He has a bruised knee. He may return when the Packers have the ball.
I'm going to tell you something, Jack. I think maybe that Burt Jones and Estes Hood are fraternity brothers or something. He hadn't thrown the ball in that area at all, and he's playing very, very deep. I can't understand why they don't give him a little business.
Holding during the run. Number 26 of the offense. Still second down.
Wendell Tyler was trying to help Gilman with the run, and he was caught in a hold. And it is second down and 12. We have 5:22 remaining in the third quarter. And now the Eagles get a little daylight in the third quarter, 27-14 over the Redskins. Second down and 12. Jones fakes the draw, not a very good fake. He airs it out downfield and underthrew it, and it is incomplete. He couldn't quite get it down far enough for Drew Hill, covered by Mike McCoy.
I wonder how long it was going to take John Hadle to call that play, because he used to love to do it when he was a quarterback, and he just threw it upfield. But it's so typical of the way John used to operate in this part of the field with Lance Allworth when he was throwing the ball for San Diego.
And can Jones throw it long? Well, there may be some question. Of course, he was throwing into the wind, and it was a little short right at the end because Drew Hill had gotten a half a step behind the defender.
Yeah, he didn't get it up in the air very high either as far as the trajectory of the ball was concerned.
A four-man front, 5 defensive backs, including Bill Whitaker, on 3rd and 12. Big play in this game.
Got to be a tight end or a back here.
And he threw it to the back to him, and he's hit at the 25. That's not enough for a first down. Time for the Rams to punt again, and the Packers are taking it right away from him. Mike Douglas and John Anderson, the 2 outside linebackers, were there for the hit. So the pass came up short. Why did you say he'd have to throw it to the back, Hank?
They were in double coverage again, Jack. They were double covering the outside receivers, and the only way you can get the ball any place would be to a back or a tight end, and the back was open, but he was way short of the necessary yardage for the first down. You have to understand coverage to make that anticipation. This is the 5th punt by John Misko, and it has to be a good one. Johnny Gray waits for it. Inside is 35. Oh, what a good kick. The coverage is not quite there. The ball's taken on the 22 to the 25-30 is Gray, and down at about the 34-yard line. And so the Packers get a chance to score again. 4:21 left in the third quarter. Packers once trail. Background pack attack was wasted during the first half because of 5 turnovers by Green Bay. 2 interceptions, 3 fumbles. But not this half. They have the only points, and they have the ball at their 35-yard line. By the way, there's a 55-yard kick by Misko into the wind. If you kick that ball right, Henry, the wind is not going to stop it that much. Now, you make a spiral, it's going to penetrate, and that's exactly what he did. It was a terrific kick. Now Lynn Dickey will try to get his offense rolling once more. On the ground with a toss to Meade, and Youngblood takes a little of the momentum away. Jack, that is, and a loss on the play. I mentioned earlier, it's very tough to get outside of Jack Youngblood. If you're going to do any work on him, you better do it inside, and especially when he's on the split inside rather than when he's on the tight inside. A loss of 3, 4 minutes left in the third quarter. 23-14, the Rams lead. A lot of people ran against Los Angeles last year. Big yards. They did. They made a lot of yardage, and hard to stop people a year ago. Second down and 13. Jefferson and Lofton both to the left side. Dickey under a 4-man rush throws, and Jefferson did everything but catch it. Oh, what a great effort he made. Once, twice off his fingertips, and then away with Pat Thomas covering. And Pat Thomas did a good job. He was right there with him, and the ball had to be thrown just precisely right for him to make the catch. But in spite of that, he almost did make it. There's the big favorite from out of San Diego, out of Arizona State, and then, of course, the Chargers. Carl Eckert is out. Leroy Irvin comes in as the 5th back on 3rd and 13. There we saw 27, Pat Thomas. 3rd down and 13. 3 wide receivers. Kaufman split right. 4-man rush. Good job over the middle, and Jefferson with another valiant effort, but nothing doing. Look at the respect those Rams players have for Jefferson.
They didn't try to maul him or mug him while he was there. They know how good he is.
Well, he's earned that respect through the years. He's a terrific receiver, and he usually makes those kind of catches. It's amazing the kind of catches he makes when he's up in the air and leaping and maintains possession.
The dangerous Leroy Urban goes back inside his 35. This will be the third punt of the day by Ray Stakowitz. He's kicking with the wind. And the wind drives Urban back to the 24. Coming outside on the baseball diamond, he hurdles out to the 35-yard line. And downfield was Guy Prather for Green Bay to make the hit with 3:17 remaining here in the third quarter. That was a 45-yard punt. The Rams have it at their 35. Stanford. Well, the Rams have not scored in about 12 minutes. And the power play is good for only about 3. Rich Wingo stuffed it. And running the ball was Wendell Tyler. Tyler came out to the 39. He got 4 yards. The score at the half was 23-0 in favor of this man's team, the Rams. Now it's 23-14. Second down and 6. A toss to Gooman trying to get outside. Wingo chases him, can't catch him. And Gooman unloads across the 45. He is out of bounds. Third down and a foot coming up. George Cumbie caught up with the play.
Cumbie took a very good angle from the inside linebacker position and really used his shoulder pads well and knocked him right out of bounds. A good shot by Cumbie.
Stop the clock with 2:37 remaining in the third quarter. Are the Packers doing anything differently defensively than they did in the first half?
No, the whole difference, as I mentioned earlier, Jack, really the whole difference in this contest has really been the turnovers and the field position. Now, in the second half, the field position for the Rams was exactly the same as it was for the Packers on their first 3 occasions in the first period, and really, that's really been the difference.
The Rams need a foot. Jones frequently will quarterback sneak in a spot like this. Back fell down, nothing doing, no first down. Wendell Tyler slipped and was covered by John Anderson. It's time for the Rams to punt, unless they want to gamble.
And I tell you, even had he not slipped, it looked like the Green Bay Packer defensive line licked the offensive line of the Los Angeles Rams, and it didn't look like he would have made it anyhow.
In again is John Misko out of Oregon State. This will be his 6th punt. And back to get it, Johnny Gray and Estes Hood. When the two of them are back there, you got to be careful of a reverse.
I really feel happy for Misko and Lansford because they've done a terrific job so far as a couple of young kickers, free agents, who are kicking in the National Football League for the very first time.
Into the wind, no pressure. Pretty good kick and better coverage by the Rams. It's taken by Gray, and there's the good coverage paying off. The tackle at the 25 downfield, Lucius Smith. They did a great job.
Boy, Lucius really gave him a good shot with a shoulder pad. That's why they wear them, and he used it well.
Green Bay is back at their 25-yard line with 1:43 remaining in the third quarter. That was a 36-yard punt. Not too deep. I guess that's why they had the good coverage, but then they didn't miss the tackle, did they? Green Bay has the wind advantage here in the third quarter. Remember that Ram field goal on the last play of the first half? That looms large now, doesn't it?
It surely does, especially when they had 12 guys on the field.
You insist, don't you? Lofton to the left, Jefferson to the right, coming short side of the running back Meade and nothing doing. George Andrews was there to get it.
George put out the fire on that play, did a good job from his right linebacker position, number 52, George Andrews. And talking about putting out the fires, he's in the fire extinguishing business in Omaha, Nebraska.
Well, he did the right thing. 1:21 left in the third quarter. 52 is Andrews. And here come the Pack. 5 defensive backs, including Leroy Urban with Carl Eckern out. What does Dickey see as he looks out there?
Well, he's got a bump and run on the right side on Lofton. Whether they're going to double cover him or not, but I would be surprised if he doesn't try to throw the ball to him. If it is bump and run.
He just beat the 30-second clock. The long one over the middle. The defender. Here's Cromwell intercepting the ball. A clean interception. And the 6th Packer turnover carries the ball down to the Green Bay 42-yard line. Dickey was walloped as he was hit.
You know, he was trying to throw the ball to Lofton, but Lofton was not aware. He was running his pattern. And watch Dickey. Cody Jones, number 76, getting good pressure on the outside. But look at the ball. Lofton did not know where the ball was going to be thrown and was not in the right position. And he threw the ball prematurely, evidently, and Cromwell comes up with the interception.
At the Green Bay 42. With 48 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Staying on the ground, Wendell Tyler spins in for a few yards. One more play and we'll be down to the end of the third quarter, and then the Rams will have the wind advantage in the final period. George Cumby was the tackler at that time. Well, that's 6 Packer turnovers, 3 interceptions, 3 fumbles.
I hate to belabor the point, but I still can't understand why they don't try to negotiate the ball over on that right side more on Estes Hood. Not that he's not a good player, but it's just the way that he's playing, and he's playing for Mark Lee, and you would think that they would give him a little test over there, but they haven't so far.
Well, Jones goes over, and the quarter is going to end before the 30-second clock runs down. So that's the end of the third period. That's why the Rams stayed on the ground with that last play, and Tyler picked up 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 when we return, and the ball will be at the Green Bay 37-yard line. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Rams 23, Green Bay 14. We'll return after this word from your local station.
Is sponsored by Subaru. Inexpensive and built to stay that way. Lowenbrau. When it's time for the taste of a truly great beer, let it be Lowenbrau. And by Honda Motorcycles, inventors of the Honda ATC, the off-road three-wheeler.
The Green Bay cheerleaders think that their team is doing a little better right now, so they're turned down, and a close-up look at some of the fans. The Packers are on defense right now, and it's 2nd down and 5 for the Rams. And here's Tyler blasting inside the 35, down near the 33, very close to a first down as we start the fourth quarter. George Cumby was the tackler again. Well, they have good linebackers on Green Bay.
Yeah, they have. They're very active. They're not overly large, but they're very active. And that time, the offensive line of the Rams got a good surge. Dennis Harris, Slater, and the tight end Barber all did a good job of coming off the ball that time. And that's what you have to do to move the chains.
And one of the linebackers that we're talking about, John Anderson, is down and is being tended to. And when we come back, they'll measure to see if the Rams have a first down. The case with all injuries, the officials allow the medical people to take all the time they want before they move a player. They measure to see if it's a first down. It is not. It'll be 3rd down and a foot for the Rams when we resume at the 33-yard line of Green Bay. They are tending to John Anderson, 6th-year man now out of Michigan. And let's hope that he isn't seriously injured.
Yeah, he was the #1 draft choice.
He looks a little punchy more than anything else, Hank.
Yeah, he does. Hopefully he didn't come out of it with a bad leg or anything. He's walking well.
He's not walking straight, that's all.
No, that's right. Walking crooked.
We have 14:46 remaining in the game. Anderson is replaced by Guy Prather, number 51. Let's watch the replay. Let's see if we can see how Anderson got it. Well, we're not going to do it because they're ready to go. It's 3rd down and a foot for the Rams. Motion by the tight end Battle. To give to the tailback Tyler. He hurdles for a first down. The ball came loose. The ball came loose. And Green Bay doesn't seem very excited about it.
It looked like Tyler moved prematurely on the play, Jack. I'm not sure, but that's what it looked like.
A flag was thrown. There is a flag thrown and a scramble for the ball also. I tell you before, look at the official down in there. These fumbles are mayhem. They have to dig down, and the players tell me that underneath there, you wouldn't believe what goes on. Their fingers in the mouth and gouging of the eyes and everything, trying to get a hold of that pigskin. And the big guys,
they search him down pretty good.
Fumble was recovered by the White. Will penalize 5 yards.
Well, the Rams got the ball back. Red Cashin said that's enough digging around. let the Rams have it, but we'll penalize them 5 yards, and it'll be 3rd down and 5.
As Coach Malavese wondering what happened on the last play, just sending in another play by John Hadel.
It was 3rd and 1. He would have had the first down, Tyler would have, but then he fumbled, and then the penalty, of course, negated all of that. Now we can watch the Green Bay linebacker, John Anderson, on the previous play, number 59. What happened to him, Hank? Ooh, somebody gave him an elbow.
That's what it looked like. Somebody gave him a shot in the head, and that's what happened. Look at this. The Rams have had 9 penalties for 78 yards. The Packers, none. That's unusual.
You see, Tyler would have had a first down, so now the Green Bay says, okay, we'll take the penalty, and they move it back 5 yards. 14:33 left in the game. The Rams were shut out during the 3rd quarter. And we'll listen to a little more Southern drawl from Red Cashin.
Illegal motion. Number 26 on the offense. Still 3rd down.
Still 3rd down for the Rams. The ball at the 38 of Green Bay. Jones, by the way, is 9 out of 18. 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He's been sacked 3 times. Here's the end around to Billy Waddy. He needs a block, and he is short of a first down. It was tackled by Estes Hood. It'll be a 4th down play.
And Estes Hood, boy, he really made a fantastic play, coming all the way over from the inside and getting a good angle. Was able to penetrate 2 blockers and made the tackle. A beautiful play by Estes Hood, number 38.
He was good for 4 yards, but not the 5 needed. Now, what are the Rams going to do? Well, they bring in the place kicker, Michael Lansford. He already has kicked 2 field goals. And out of the hole of Nolan Cromwell, this will be a 51-yard try.
Let's see where his left foot is, Jack. His left heel should be. You can't tell.
He got it off to the left and no good. So the Packers dodge the bullet. The score remains as is. The ball will come back to the line of scrimmage with 13:35 remaining in the game. So that little penalty a while ago, which negated the first down, really hurt the Rams, and the Packers have the football. They trail by 9.
Matter of NFL action. Dallas at St. Louis, San Francisco at Denver, plus other regional action next Sunday on CBS Sports.
Lynn Dickey, the Packer quarterback, has played all the way. He's 12 out of 21, 145 yards, 1 touchdown, but he has thrown 3 interceptions and been sacked 1 time. First down for the Pack at their own 34. They have Ivory in the backfield along with Meade. Right in Kaufman on the right side. Here is Meade, and he had to spin to get 4 yards on the play. And now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Jack, the Giants. A short plunge against Atlanta. He fumbles. Bob Glazebrook picks it up. Only Scott Brunner can tackle him, and he cannot. And Glazebrook goes 92 yards with a fumble recovery. The extra...
A 4-yard gain by the rookie, Mike Meade. He hasn't been able to shake loose, and it's 2nd down and 6 from the 37-yard line of Green Bay.
He's a good, strong, tough inside runner. 5'10 and a half, 228. A rookie from Penn State, drafted 5 in 1982.
13:10 left in this game. And we have a timeout down in the field as the officials confer with both benches.
I'm impressed with the way the Los Angeles Rams have changed their scheme on 1st and 10. I mentioned it earlier, but they were using an overshifted defense and they were getting hurt earlier in the game. They changed to the 4-3, and they've been in that most of the time on 1st and 10 situations, and they seemingly have helped themselves tremendously with that adjustment.
Jefferson to the right, Loft into the left. Motion by Jefferson. And Dickey's pass over the middle and caught at the 45. That's a first down. Caught by John Jefferson. The tackler, Johnny Johnson, was right on his tail.
Those receivers, especially Jefferson, are very, very impressive and create a lot of problems when they go in motion and make you cover on the run and react and respond. There you see him in motion. He delays, breaks underneath. It's finally picked up there by number 20, Johnny Johnson, but not until after he made the necessary yardage for the first down.
When you watch that replay, how in the world could you stay with a man like that? Now Jefferson's in the slot to the right. It's first down at the Green Bay 45. Here's a first down pass. Long over the middle, Jefferson caught it. Full stride. 20, 15, 10. First and goal from the 5-yard line. Jefferson again. And another tremendous throw by Dickey.
Boy, was that on the money, and Rod Perry was in hot pursuit that time. He was covering.
And it looked like Jefferson may have popped the hamstring, Hank.
Oh, that'd really be too bad because he made a beautiful play and tried to get it into the end zone.
And he may have gotten into the end zone if he didn't pop that hamstring. I hope that's not what it is, but that's what it looked like.
It was bump and run with Rod Perry, and he got away from Perry and licked him downfield. Perry tried to make a stab at the ball, but there he goes. And is finally tackled by Nolan Cromwell, number 21.
He got down to the 5, and he's still not up. That was a 50-yard pass play with 12:02 left in the game. Jefferson is howling down there. And now he bounces back up. I'm all right, he says. Oh, I'm glad it's not a hamstring. He'd have been out for about a month. He's hobbling, but he's double tough. But he's hurting, too. He's crying and laughing at the same time.
Is he smooth? You know, he just gobbles up the yardage. You don't look like he's going. It doesn't look like he's going as fast as he is, but he really picks him up and lays him down.
Maybe it was just a cramp. That was 6 catches today for 116 yards. And it's first and goal at the Los Angeles 5-yard line. And we have Rodgers, and we have Ivory in the backfield. It's Meade with Ivory, and there goes Meade, searching for the goal line and only got to the 4.
There's a penalty on the play.
Tackled by Reggie Doss. Meade 1 yard.
In that area usually is holding.
Guess what it is. Nothing will stop a drive any more than that. Stops the clock with 11:40 left in the game. With Jefferson out, the other wide receiver is Philip Epps.
Number 57 on the offense, still first down.
Gerald Goforth, the left guard, was the man who was caught. Philip Epps, a rookie out of Texas Christian, number 85, is in replacing Jefferson.
And he's got 4.3 speed. He can really fly. And he's had problem with the knee, but he's recovered well. And they were forced to use him here. They didn't particularly want to, but they have to because of the injury.
It's second down and goal from the 15-yard line. Dickey looks for some yards. He looks for a screen. Can't throw it. Dumps it off. Incomplete and almost intercepted. Trying to get it out to Kaufman. The linebacker, Jim Youngblood, almost walked into the ball.
Credit Cody Jones that time, number 76. He was the cop on the play. He had to read the draw and the screen and read it perfectly. Number 76, they wanted to draw a screen the ball to the outside to Meade, but he was right there playing policeman, and he couldn't throw the ball to him.
I'll give you a little baseball score. The Milwaukee Brewers lead the Yankees 6-2 fourth inning. Home runs by Cooper, Simmons, and Ogilvy. Milwaukee leading Baltimore by 3 and Boston by 5.
This is a great time to run a trap play inside, Jack, against it. They're going to be coming like gangbusters, thinking it's going to be a pass.
Leroy Irvin is in the defensive backfield. It's second and goal from the 15. They're going to try to throw for it. Into the end zone. Lofton, touchdown. Touchdown. Pat Thomas was trying to stay with him and couldn't do it.
Boy, he made a good outside move on Thomas and licked him in the end zone for the touchdown and licked him good.
There's a little contact there in the end zone, wasn't there, Hank?
Yeah, look at the blitzing linebacker coming, Youngblood. But he delivers the ball. Look, he steps up into the pocket very well, talking about Dickey. And look at all the room he's got. A lot of room, a lot of air between he and Thomas. And he makes the touchdown. A big play for the Green Bay Packers.
Well, he overcame the holding penalty. The pass by Jefferson set it up. Stankiewicz will hold. Center Road will try to put Green Bay within 2 points. Larry McCarron with the snap. Good snap, good placement. The kick is good, and we have a 23-14 21 score after the Rams once led by the score of 23-0.
Here we see Lofton again this time. Dickey, and you have to give Dickey a lot of credit. Watch the blitzing linebacker. They pick him up well. Dickey steps up, throws the ball to the outside to Lofton. He licks Pat Thomas. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Well, the Rams once led 23-0. They lead 23-21, 11:29 remaining. Here's the kick with Robert Alexander waiting for it. Gets a bad bounce. He's in trouble. Picks it up at the 5. Gets to the 10, and down he goes. The ball comes loose, and Green Bay apparently has it. Let's wait and see if the officials concur with the Green Bay players. They're still struggling for that ball. Green Bay has the ball. They recover the rookie, the second-year man's fumble on the 10-yard line. Can you believe what's happening here?
It's incredible. You know, it's typical what happens if you don't just fall on the ball when you fumble it, Jack. You know, you're better off to just lay on it and make sure you have possession rather than try to pick it up and scramble around and maybe not have good possession of it and then fumble it.
I knew as soon as that up back ran by it. And by the way, Guy Prather is the one who recovered the fumble, number 51. As soon as that up man ran by it, he said to Alexander, you take it, and he got that bad bounce. I knew there was all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, the minute you have indecision, boy, it's a problem.
At the Los Angeles 10-yard line, even a field goal would put Green Bay on top for the first time today. Can you believe all of this? Operating into the wind hasn't stopped the Packers here in the fourth quarter.
Somewhere they have to run a trap inside.
Here's a pass play on first down, and it is at the goal line. Touchdown. Touchdown to the tight end, Kaufman, his second of the day. Green Bay with a fantastic comeback. Why, heck, they just scored 17 seconds ago.
We'll take a look at it again, and you have to give Dickey a lot of credit. He puts it right on the money. Good pass protection all the time. Step up and throw. Good vision. Kaufman makes the catch. Is covered there by Cromwell, but he licks him into the end zone for the touchdown. A big touchdown play for the Green Bay Packers.
Out of the hold of Stakowitz, Stenerud tries to make it 28-23. And that'll force the Rams to get a touchdown to go on top. The kick is good. This is amazing. And thoroughly unenjoyable for Ram fans, I'm sure.
Here we see another view of it. Good protection. Fanning trying to get protection, but he steps up into the pocket and delivers the ball right on the money beyond the outstretched hands of Nolan Cromwell.
Well, now we'll see what the Rams are made out of. They once led 23-0. They trail 28-23. 11-12 left in the game. Stenerud will kick, and Robert Alexander is deepest. A line drive, and he handles it. He gets up and tries to run to the 15. He gets to the 20, to the 25, and almost broke it. He's out near the 27-yard line. Downfield for the Packers was Randy Scott along with Harlan Huckabee. Do you believe what you're watching, Hank Strand?
You know, I've seen the Packers do this on several occasions, doing games of them in the last 3 or 4 years. They are remarkable in the second half, and you can't count them out. And we talked about that earlier, about somebody saying that, you know, they didn't look like they were playing hard. You can't sell the Rams on the fact that they're not playing hard.
The Rams have to get something going.
I still can't understand why they don't throw the ball in front of Hood over there on the right side.
Jones over to the right side, and is caught for a first down by Willie Miller. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
Why and how are they able to throw over there, Hank?
It just looks like they ought to play baseball, play catch over there as deep as he's playing. Here you see Willie Miller running them off, breaking to the outside. You don't even see him in the picture. He's so deep, you ought to be able to do that anytime you want to.
First down at the Rams 48. By the way, John Anderson, the linebacker whom we showed you injured earlier, is back in there for Green Bay. 10:57 left in the game. Same thing.
Look how deep he is. I'd keep throwing the ball over there and make him until he came up.
Here is Jones looking this time left. And it is caught by Gooman. He's down into Green Bay territory and knocked down at the 47-yard line by George Cumby. Say, when Jones starts spraying the ball around, you better be on your toes.
Yes, he keeps you off balance and does a good job in that area. But I'm just surprised that, Estes Hood is playing man for man over there so much of the time. He's back there sometime anywhere from 8 to 12 yards deep. Now they're in a double zone. He's got, if he can throw the ball, he's going to throw the ball to the tight end or one of the backs.
Billy Waddy is in now. Drew Hill can't hear the signal snap. Here's the pass to Hill, and it hit him right in the belly. It hit him right in the belly as it got by Mike McCoy.
He threw right into coverage that time, double coverage, but he tried to hit the seam between the defensive back and the defensive safety. Had it been thrown properly, he had a chance, but it's a low percentage kind of a throw.
Tonight on CBS television, 60 Minutes in Archie Bunker's place. The Jefferson, one day at a time, and then the very popular Trapper John. 3rd down and 4.
Same thing, double cover the outside people. You got to get the ball inside to the tight end or the back if you're going to succeed.
On 3rd down, Jones throws. It's caught by Gooman. A brilliant catch. 1st down. He's to the 31. There aren't many fullbacks who would have caught that ball. Johnny Gray was covering, and that ball was coming like a bullet.
Look, you talk about a ball looked like it's on a trolley line. That was. He had to throw the ball perfectly that time to Gooman, and that's exactly what he did. Boy, he whistled it in there perfectly. Beautiful throw, Burt Jones to Gooman, and they pick up the necessary yardage for the 1st down.
That's the best catch we've seen today. The ball is at the Green Bay 31 and a 1st down. 9:35 left in the game. A 15-yard pickup.
A lot of room on the right side running-wise.
Jones delays the ball to Gerald Thomas trying to get outside. Hauled down at the 30-yard line. He gained only a yard. Johnny Gray caught it.
That was a delayed play, Jack, and had they got the ball out there just a little bit quicker, they would have made some yardage on the play possibly, but the response of the defense was very good, and that's why they didn't do a better job.
We have 9:07 remaining, and now we have exactly 9 minutes left in the game. The Rams have the wind. They need a touchdown to go ahead. They're 5 points behind. Robert Alexander is in their backfield.
Look at Willie Miller over there. Willie, 82.
Here's Jones looking for Miller, and he dropped the ball. Miller was there, and the ball was on the money, and it was incomplete. Well, he did it, Hank, but you have to catch it, don't you?
Yeah, you really do. It makes a big difference. He whistled it in there. That kind of a ball, you have to throw it. The numbers are below, because if you throw it high, if it ricochets, it's going to be intercepted. You hit him low, it's going to drop to the ground and avoid an interception. Of course, the ideal thing is to catch the football, which he didn't do.
Ball is at Green Bay 30. The Packers leading 28-23. 8:45 left. 3rd down and 9 for the Rams. Preston Denard comes to the left. He hasn't been able to do much today. Billy Waddy is with him. Here's the pass by Jones. He is hit and sacked. That's what Green Bay needed, and they got it from Mike Butler. He's their leading sack man, and it's 4th down for the Rams.
Butler came around the outside, and he's 6'5", 265, a #1 draft choice from the University of Kansas in 1977. But watch him, number 77. They're trying to seal off the inside. Merrill is coming inside, number 78, and they miss. They miss on the block. Slater misses the block on Mike Butler, and they're forced now to kick the football. There's a lot of time left, 8:23.
That's the 4th time that Jones has been sacked today. We talked about that at the very beginning of the show. And this is the 7th punt by the kicker, John Misko. Double safeties are back, Hood and Gray. And apparently, as the whistle stops play, Green Bay is going to get the ball back. Now the 30-second clock will run out. Well, that won't hurt the kicker anyway. He was in a little too close to start with. 8:06 left.
The last time he was in this position, he kicked a beautiful kick out of bounds right about the 10-yard line. He aimed for the right side and got it right where he wanted it.
For the offense, still 4th down.
When he kicks to the right, he better be careful he doesn't shank the ball.
That's right. It's always better, really, to kick the ball to your left, because if you kick it left, you shank it, it goes down the middle. If you kick it right and it goes off the side of the foot, you're out of business. It's a bad kick.
And, of course, a good snap is needed. Flags go down. The kick hangs high. Bounces into the end zone, and now we'll check the flag.
37, Sully was offside again, just like he was earlier on the play. He was offside again, and they're going to call it back.
I don't know whether Green Bay will be content to have the ball at their 20-yard line or not.
I would think they would, very frankly.
Offside against the Rams. They can talk it over. Green Bay may just want the football. With 7:59 remaining. Tell us, Red.
Number 37 of the kicker's offside. Penalty is declined. It's a touchback. It'll be 1st and 10.
You're right, Red Cashin. It is a touchback, and it comes out to the 20-yard line. We have 7:59 left in the game. The Rams have been shut out during the entire second half, and the score 28-23 in favor of the Packers, and the Packers have the football, and they want to run off some of that clock.
Well, the defense has to rise to the occasion here. And conversely, while, of course, the offense of the Green Bay Packers has to make something happen.
Meade is the fullback, Eddie Lee Ivory the tailback. And Dickey will probably sit on the ball. Gives it to Ivory. Ivory is no good. In that particular play, no gain. Only to the 20-yard line. And it was jammed up in there by Fanning and Cody Jones.
Bart Starr never changes his expressions. You don't know whether he's winning or losing. He keeps his cool. He stays right in the game.
No gain that time. In the fourth quarter, Minnesota leading Tampa Bay by the score of 17-10. And in the fourth quarter, Buffalo leading Kansas City 14-9. Tim Huffman is the left guard for Green Bay at this point. Motion. And a give to Ivory. And he is wrapped up this time by Jim Fanning, and he gained only about a yard. It'll be 3rd and 9. The clock will run down to under 7 minutes. And don't forget, if and when Green Bay has to kick, they'll be kicking into the wind. Malavese concerned. You would be too. His team was ahead 23-0.
Yeah, this first game of the season, when you play away from home, you never know what to expect. Anything can happen, and I'm sure he's got to be very concerned. At this stage of the game with 6:46, this is a big down.
Certainly is. We'll call it 3rd and 8 from the 22-yard line. They have Del Rogers in there. Very good at catching the ball, number 35, along with Mike Meade. And the officials have to talk it over. It stops the clock with 6:35 left in the contest. What's going on, Red? He's telling Lynn Dickey what has to be done.
30-second clock is out again. There's 10 seconds to snap the ball. 10 seconds.
Thank you, sir. 30-second clock is out of business. 10 seconds to snap the ball. And they're going to start the clock again. That is the game clock.
Boy, Dickey's had quite an afternoon. He's 16 of 26 for 227 yards. 3 interceptions and 3 touchdowns.
They better snap it pretty quickly. They just got it off, and nothing doing with Rogers. And it is a 4th down play, and flags go down as a couple of players get tangled up out here. Lofton got all hooked up with Pat Thomas, and the officials try to keep the other players away from the scene. Lofton and Thomas tangled. I don't know why. I didn't see that part of the play.
No, and Pat Thomas really threw a blow and with an elbow and right in front of the official.
One of our people in the booth thinks that perhaps he grabbed the face mask of Lofton, but I didn't see it. Let's see what the officials did see. Oh, we've got an isolated on. Let's watch the old pugilism.
They're in bump and run. Oh, he gave him a little massage right in the chin and gave him another double dipper.
Gave him 3. Grabbed him by the face mask.
Yes, he did. And watch this. Oh, you don't see it. And then at the last, watch him throw this. Watch him. Bang.
Uh-oh.
Try to give him a little facial with an elbow.
Well, we know after watching. They're going to call it against both. Well, they didn't see what we see.
No.
It'll be 4th down.
They're going to disregard it. It's going to be 4th down. I didn't see Lofton do anything wrong, did you?
No, I didn't. He dodged a bullet. They really dodged a bullet on that play. I'm talking about the Rams because of the shot delivered by Thomas with the elbow.
If the officials had seen it, they'd have thrown it for 15 yards and also kicked Thomas out of the game. You can bet your boots on that. This will be the fourth punt by Stakowicz. He's kicking into the wind and back to get it. The best in the NFL last year, Leroy Irvin. He's standing inside his 45.
Irvin's got terrific vision. Great vision.
6:19 left in the game. 28-23, Green Bay leading. And the kick. Irvin will return it for some yards. Only a couple. He got 3 or 4. That's all, and the Rams have to do their job, and they have to get a touchdown. They trail by 5. Larry Rubens was downfield along with Harlan Huckabee. Huckabee was the first one downfield on Irvin. 38-yard punt. Here's our first final of the day. The Bengals defeat Houston 27-6. And another final. Uh-oh. Eagles upset by Washington. No, it's not quite over. 28-27. They're in the waning moments of their game. The ball is at the 43 of Los Angeles. And Jones can't afford any mistakes. All alone is Gerald Thomas. He's to midfield and down into Green Bay territory. He is to the Green Bay 49. It'll be 2nd and 2. Mike Douglas there defensively.
Burt Jones has been in this situation many times. He's
Especially
not gonna,
with Baltimore.
Yep, he's not going to panic. He knows what he has to do. He's not going to be He's not going to be impatient. He's going to do what he has to do and take what the defense gives him. That time they gave him the halfback in the flat, and he took it.
2nd down and 2.
Boy, look at that right side. It's unbelievable how deep that Estes Hood is playing.
Waddy in motion. Jones is looking to the right side. Throws to the right side. Intercepted. That's the mistake I said he couldn't afford. George Cumby, the linebacker, picked it off, ran it back. Green Bay has the ball. 5:21 the first. 5:21 left. The first interception by Jones all day.
You know, I can't understand, really. They have a situation that's ideal with a one-on-one on Estes Hood, and they brought him back in motion to change that picture and created a problem for themselves that they really didn't need. It's hard to understand. Here he is, back in the pocket, and he tries to throw the ball inside.
And the other pass was there, right, Hank?
Yes, it was on the outside. All you had to do is throw the ball one-on-one. You had a one-on-one with Estes Hood, who was back there about 10, 11 yards deep. Just throw the ball in front of him and move the chains.
5:21 left in the game. Well, the Packers couldn't move it the last time they had it. They had to punt. They get it right back on the interception. And for the Rams in the turnover department, that is their 2nd of the day. Here is Dickey staying on the ground, and Ivory moving across the 35. Boo, say the fans. They want him to open it up. If they were calling the plays, they wouldn't think that.
No, that's right. They'd think about it a lot differently. But I really think that it would be appropriate for them to try to get some kind of a big play and get out of this area, so in the so they'll create more problems for the Rams when they do get the ball back, if they do.
As you say, we're under the 5-minute mark. 4:50 left in the game. The Rams once led 23-0. They trail 28-23, and they need the ball desperately. 2nd and 8. Motion by Epps, and the pass play. It is caught for a first down. Kyle Eckern made the tackle as the tight end Kaufman hauled it down.
That's a good play. I like to see that, because there we see it again, and you see Dickey. You know, he's sharp. He reads defenses very well. He knows exactly what he has to do. There he is. Throws the ball right in the numbers to Kaufman. Keeps it low enough, and he makes enough yardage for the first down. A good call by Bob Schnelker, the coordinator for the Green Bay Packers.
And that'll take it under the 4-minute mark at about the time the ball is snapped. It's at the Green Bay 46, the first down.
They're a bump and run here, and I pump it up again.
Motion by Epps. Here's a toss, and the running play, breaking it for the first time today, is Mike Meade for a first down. And a flag is down. A flag is down in the vicinity where they usually call holding. It would have been a first down at the Rams 35, but it's a penalty against the Rams.
Boy, did that kid pop through there in good shape. Got off the ball with very good quickness. Mike Mead, 5'10 and a half, 228, a rookie from Penn State.
Face mask, number 79 on the defense, first down.
A 19-yard gain. Boy, what a big play for the Green Bay Packers. That's got to really hurt the Los Angeles Rams.
And he grabbed the face mask, and the play went to the Rams' 30-yard line.
There's the face mask by Mike Fanning, number 79, as he goes through the revolving door. Something left here, possibly, if they run the ball. Something left.
Motion by Epps. Jefferson probably won't return. Mead again over the left side. Drives down near, well, to the 27-yard line. He must be a very sure-handed back, or they wouldn't be using him in a spot like this. Here's the final score. The Cardinals at New Orleans defeat the Saints 21-7. And next Sunday, the Cardinals will be at home to Dallas, and you'll see that game on CBS television. And also, another third period score, Baltimore upsetting New England 13-10. Second down and 7. 3:10 left. A delay to Ivory. He is inside the 15, 10, touchdown. Eddie Lee Ivory, and the Rams cannot believe what's happening to them. 27 yards. Ivory makes the score 34-23. Hank will go a long way into the season before we have a more incredible comeback than this one.
You really have to give Bart Starr, this coaching staff, look at the beautiful, beautiful hole there. Eddie Lee Ivory, and he makes it happen, runs through another tackler. Nolan Cromwell is trying to get the ball loose and misses the tackle, and he goes into the end zone on molesting, walks the dog a little bit, going into the end zone for the touchdown.
Another extra point try by Stenerud, trying to make it 35-23, a 12-point lead. Low snap. Stakowicz did a good job. The kick was good. This is unbelievable.
That's why they play 4 quarters. You just never know what's going to happen.
We have 3 minutes and 6 seconds left in the game. The Rams are trailing. 5 unanswered points by Green Bay. They lead 35-23 after trailing 23-0 at the half, and they want their rookie, Robert Alexander, who is back on the goal line, to do something with his Jan Stenerud kick. And he will have a chance to return it. From the 14, he's quickly to the 20, 25, and blew out to the 30-yard line. The Rams trail by 12 as they get the ball. Cliff Lewis was downfield to make the tackle. There is John Jefferson along the sideline. He has some sort of leg injury. We don't know precisely what it is. He will not return today. But the Packers want defense right now. Kickoff to the Rams 30. With less than 3 minutes left. That last drive, 5 plays.
You know, I saw the Green Bay Packers a couple of years ago do exactly the same thing to the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints had total control of the game, winning by a big margin, and they came right back in the second half and did exactly the same thing and won it. Still got 2:58 left. It's not over yet.
Bert Jones was picked off the last time he had the ball. He dumps it off short to Gerald Thomas. Breaks a couple of tackles, comes across the 40, gets a first down, and he's out of bounds. And that stops the clock with 2:50 left. Good play by Thomas.
Yes, it was. Very alert play by Thomas. And the way the Green Bay Packer defense is playing, they're playing double coverage on the outside with 5 defensive backs. Tampa Bay losing to the Minnesota Vikings 17-10.
Well, Green Bay will have to win to keep pace with Minnesota.
And look at Atlanta, 16-14 over the New York Giants in the fourth quarter, still contesting. Ray Malavasi on the sideline. He's got to feel badly about what's happened to his team after leading 23-0 at halftime.
He knows the score. He was looking at the clock. 2:50 left. First down from the 42. And the pass wide open to Thomas again. Very smartly gets out of bounds.
He got out of bounds, Jack, but he lost yardage in the process. He should have gone upfield as much as he possibly could toward the chains to get as much yardage as he possibly could on the play. He didn't do that.
You could hear one of the officials talking to McCoy, the cornerback. Way to hold up, McCoy, because had McCoy whacked him when he was running out of bounds, he'd have gotten a flag. It's second down and 5. Thomas, by the way, is no slouch in the open field. If he gets turned upfield, he's like a bull.
You talk about trying to tackle a rolling manhole cover. He's exactly that.
2:43 left in the game. 35-23, Green Bay leads.
Four-man rush.
Can't get to him. There's a long pass, and off the fingertips of Drew Hill. He went high, could have caught it, didn't hang on.
He had his hands turned the wrong way. It looked like, Jack. It looked like they were. Normally in that situation, when you're running right, your right hand should be up and your left hand below. That time it was just the opposite. It looked like his left hand was up, right hand below, and there's no way in the world you can make that kind of a catch. It looks like he got ping pong paddles trying to make that kind of a catch with the ball that's high.
Bart Starr trying to inspire his defense in the fourth quarter. A field goal by John Ribetto, and Detroit's out in front with 4 minutes left. 17-10. Here's the Atlanta Files. They beat the Giants 16-14. 3rd and 5 for Jones. Plenty of time. Caught by Thomas and a first down. And they're going to give him a first down with his forward progress. They're going to mark the ball down to the point where it will be, as I see it from here, a first down by about an inch. Or maybe I spoke too quickly. Whether it is or isn't, it's about an inch. And 2:22 remaining. That was a 3rd down play.
He had it easy, and then he came back and made it a close play.
And it is short by a couple of inches. It'll be 4th down, and the Rams will have to go for it. The ball is at the 48 of Green Bay.
You know, Billy Waddy, I hate to keep talking about this, but it's there and it's obvious. Bill Waddy was so open on the outside. It was just unbelievable. Would have been a big play. Again, Estes Hood back there, 38, was back there about 14 yards and gave him a big cushion, and he would have made a lot of yardage on the play.
And now trying to get the first down is going to cause the Rams to use some of the 2:22 remaining. There's our score here in the fourth quarter, 35-23. Casey Merrill comes in to beef up the defensive line for the Pack. It's Thomas and Gooman. And it's Gooman with the ball, and he got a first down. That was good defense, but he got a first down by about a yard. Richard Turner finished him off.
You know, in this situation, you ask the question, you know, why are they throwing the ball so short? It's very obvious, because they're double covering the outside people, playing very deep, and you have to take what they're giving you. And that's why Burt Jones is throwing the ball to the backs. However, I mentioned earlier that they continue to get a lot of room on the outside to the right side, and they've only thrown the ball in that area about 3 times. 1 was dropped. The other 2 were caught, and I just can't understand why they haven't done a better job of negotiating the ball in that area.
We have 2 minutes left in this game. The executive producer of NFL football is Terry O'Neill. Today's game produced by Charles H. Milton III, directed by Joe Assetti. Our associate producer, Mike Arnold. Score 35-23. Well, you saw the Cardinal final. They won their first game at New Orleans, and they'll be sky high waiting for the arrival of the Dallas team next Sunday into St. Louis. You'll see that game on CBS television.
I was surprised at that, Jack. They didn't win a preseason game at all, did they, St. Louis? And they didn't look very impressive.
And New Orleans will be trying to come back in their game at Chicago. And the other games that will be televised by CBS next Sunday, Detroit at the Rams. I wonder if the Rams will be 0-1. Time will tell here. And then the 49ers, the big offense, at Denver, the big defense. Check your local listings for the games and the action next Sunday on CBS television. The Rams trail by 12. They have 2 minutes left. They have a first down at the Green Bay 41. And Jones cannot at all afford another mistake. The flag is down. Looked like encroachment. The pass is thrown and intercepted by the linebacker Anderson, who was hurt earlier. But I think, as we watch the run back, that Green Bay was in the neutral zone. I think the Rams will get the ball in a 5-yard penalty against the Pack. I do not believe he was drawn offside, but we'll let the officials determine that. They're going to call it back.
No question about it. They were offside on the play, which nullifies the interception. 5-yard penalty. 1:50 left in the fourth quarter.
Offsides. Number 75 on the defense. Still first down.
Richard Turner was offside. Immediately after this game, you'll see the finals of the U.S. Open Tennis Tournament. The left-hander, Jimmy Connors, against Ivan Lendl. Adding to your day of sports here on CBS television. 1:50 left in the game. 1st and 5 at the 41.
Packers have 5 defensive backs in the game.
And
the
they're
back.
swinging out to Gooman. He'll get out of bounds with the ball after getting a first down. They're just giving them that, aren't they, Hank?
Yeah, they just say, here, take it. We'll let you make the play and take as much time as you like. We have the advantage.
They can't go deep?
Yeah, you know, you look at the defense, and they got 5 defensive backs. They're very deep. They're giving you the short stuff. There's no way in the world you can get the ball over the top of anybody, and that's why they're throwing the ball like they are.
Here's the fourth quarter score with the Eagles coming back on top 34-31 on a pass to Carmichael with 1:04 left in that game. Third quarter, New England leads Baltimore by 4. First down play for Burt Jones. And he was hit as he threw, and it's intercepted. And Green Bay has the ball. The play still has not been whistled dead, and now it is dead, and that was John Anderson again, and that's the game. That was a wounded duck floating down to John Anderson.
Well, that was really a good hit right in the process of throwing the ball. It went right up in the air. And, of course, number 59, John Anderson, feel it like a fair catch, like a punt, and came up with the interception. Malavesi and his coaching staff definitely very disappointed, very obviously, to have a 23-point lead and then come back like they have in the second half and be losing 35-23. Boy, that's murder.
Isn't the Rams defense better than this, Hank?
I think it is, yes, I think it is. But here again, you know, when you give away some points like they did early in the third quarter with bad field position, that's why they had the lead initially, because they had good field position. Then the worm turned, and they were in the opposite situation. That's what happens when you play on a shorter field than the team that you're playing.
The ball is at the 19-yard line. And they break it with Ivory. He gets a first down. Out to the 36. Eddie Lee Ivory out to the 36.
You know, the thing that really is, as you look back and look at what happened to the Rams, they really should have had more than 23 points in the first half, and they actually did. They had the opportunities, but didn't take advantage of them with touchdowns. They got field goals, but they didn't get touchdowns.
The Rams call a timeout with 1:23 remaining, and as long as Green Bay hangs onto the football, there's nothing the Rams can do to close the gap of the 12-point deficit. Ivory has rushed now for 96 yards on 15 carries, 2 touchdowns, and little wonder they missed him last year. He was hurt in the first game.
He's a flyer. He really makes the sparks fly, and you can easily understand why they recognize him as such a great back.
He's number 40. He's out of Georgia Tech. Misses his 4th year.
And he was a number 1 pick in 1979 and has not been able to play an entire season because of injuries.
He's a 6-footer, 210, and he's trying to get to 100 yards. And hang out of the ball and kill the clock. There he goes again, and he gets a couple. And that gives him about 99. And the Rams call another timeout. That stops the clock with 1:18 remaining. Sorry, Coach, there's nothing you can do about it. It's a terrible spot to be in, isn't it, Hank?
Yeah, it really is, and I've been in it on many occasions. I know exactly what Ray Malavesi is feeling.
There's the defense trying to figure out a way to get the ball, but even if they got the ball, the Rams were picked off the last 2 times they had it. Turnovers in this game, 6 by Green Bay, and then late in the game, a total of 3 for the Rams. With 2 interceptions and 1 lost fumble. 1 fumble was recovered. There's Bart Starr. I bet he wouldn't have given you a nickel for this game at halftime, 23-0.
No, you wouldn't think so, but as I mentioned, they've done this many times. And you know, the ironic thing about it, Jack, I didn't mention it earlier, when talking to him yesterday at Green Bay, when I went over to watch him practice, he said, you know, the Rams are a great team, and I think they are better than we are, but I really think we're going to win the game. That's what he told me.
You told me that last night. Right after this game here in Milwaukee County Stadium, Pat Summerall and friends will take over on CBS television for the finals of the U.S. Men's Open Tennis Tournament. Connors and Lendl. Timeouts. The Rams have one left. A long snap, hoping to get an offside. Ivory gets 100 yards. And Ivory gets a first down. If you had any questions about the outcome of this game, that's it. 1:09 left, and another first down for Green Bay to their 49.
You know, the offense and defensive lines of the Rams in the first half totally dominated the game. And now in this second half, the change totally.
There goes Eddie Lee Ivory off the field. And Green Bay will have as their next action the Giants on a Monday night, a week from tomorrow night.
Excuse me, Jack. We just saw a picture of Bob Schnelker, who calls the offensive plays for the Green Bay Packers.
There's a guy that set it all up with a go-ahead touchdown, for the go-ahead touchdown. J.J. Jefferson, snap of the ball, and the clock runs down. That'll be the last play. Well, the adjectives are lacking. The score was 23-0 in favor of the Rams at halftime.
The Rams just call a timeout.
That's their last one. So there'll be one more snap of the ball, and the final score is going to be 35-23. Green Bay scored 14 in the third quarter and 21 points in the last quarter. And you're right, Hank. Early on, the Rams were down there, and they had to settle for a couple of field goals rather than touchdowns.
Yeah, they really did. They had good field position and had control of the game, and just settled for 3 points instead of 7, and that makes a big difference.
In the first half, the turnovers just stymied the Green Bay Packers at every turn. Now they've come back to win this game. They'll be 1-0, and the Rams, who didn't make it to the playoffs last year and won only 6 games, have traveled a long way to lose one like this. And there's Bart Starr, and is he happy? And the sellout crowd here at County Stadium saw a game that won't be matched for quite a while in the NFL this year.
It won't be, and again, you have to give Bart Starr and his coaching staff and his team an awful lot of credit to bounce back from a halftime deficit of 23-0. There you see Ray Malavasi. He's very disappointed, I'm sure, but it's a long season. There we see Dickey and the coach running off the field, full of happiness, full of joy.
Couple of quarterbacks. Well, it was some afternoon of football for the opener, and there was the final 35 unanswered points.